Chapter 556. The person who spoke was Yang Wu. His realm was not as high as Jiang Dongxing's, but he could easily resolve Hegel's water arrow attack. The people of the Hung Mountain sect were surprised. They wondered if this young man was hiding his strength, or if he was the son of the water god. Otherwise, how could he be like a fish in water? Even the deacons and prodigies of the Hung Mountain sect, who were the best at water battles, might not have such ability. Indeed, Yang Wu was completely adapted to water battles. This was all thanks to the dragon turtle sky flipping technique. It helped him to be like a fish in water. The bloodline power in his body had also developed an affinity for water. Even without the water dispelling pearl, he could probably walk in water as if it was flat ground. Jiang Dongsheng came back to his senses and wiped away his cold sweat. He said gratefully to Yang Wu, "Thank you for your help. It's a small matter. Wait for me to kill him." Yang Wu said disapprovingly. "A little human dares to speak so arrogantly. You really don't know what's good for you." Hegel shouted. In the next moment, Hegel waved his halberd, and several water dragons that were hundreds of feet long condensed and charged toward Yang Wu. The power was so domineering that it seemed like it was going to tear Yang Wu apart. Hegel's strength was in the intermediate heaven realm, but in water, he could unleash the combat power of an advanced heaven realm expert. This was the benefit of the water force. Before Yang Wu adapted to the power of the river, this power was enough to kill him instantly. However, after he fully adapted, he was not afraid of Hegel at all. The power of his war blood boiled. He waved his arms and used the dragon turtle sea flipping technique again. This time, the power of the dragon turtle sea flipping technique was even more terrifying. The water in this area seemed to be torn apart by Yang Wu. When the several powerful water dragons came into contact with Yang Wu's power, the two water forces exploded. Waves of water swept in all directions, scaring everyone away. Only Yang Wu and Hegel remained in place. So powerful, Hegel realized that he couldn't suppress Yang Wu and couldn't help but exclaim. Then, he no longer held back and took the initiative to rush over. He waved his halberd at Yang Wu, and waves of water squeezed towards Yang Wu from all directions. The waves formed a water prison, and the majestic pressure wanted to seal Yang Wu within. This was the strength of the Blackwater race. When the water prison was formed, the pressure increased greatly. All the water profound energy was under Hegel's control, and no one else could easily use water profound energy to fight back. After all, Yang Wu was different. His supreme 9 Mysteries mantra and dragon turtle water suppression stance both possessed the first-class ability to absorb water. He could still absorb the water profound chi around him. His war blood talent was activated to the peak, and he blasted out the same move again. The shadow of the dragon turtle was more than twice as big as before. It broke through the water prison, and the waves overlapped again and again, spreading out in all directions. It was incomparably shocking. Kill. Hegel's eyes turned red. He didn't think that he would lose to a human youth in the water. He finally used the Black Water Race's talent. The halberd moved, and the water turned into an eye. It turned into a whirlpool eye and strangled towards Yang Wu. This whirlpool eye was formed by water blades. No matter who fell into it, they would suffer the punishment of death by 1,000 cuts. Martial Heavenly King, run. This whirlpool eye can't be fought with force. Yang Jie and Li Xiao both cried out in alarm. The 5th prince of the White Water Race also shouted, "Benefactor, avoid the attack first." How could Yang Wu not feel the power of this whirlpool eye? His body was being sucked in, and it was not easy for him to stabilize his body. However, he would not sit still and wait for death. He used the dragon turtle water suppression stance and forcibly stabilized his body. The ice blade wings had already quietly cut towards Hegel. Yang Wu was replenished by a huge amount of water profound chi in this water region. His kidneys were water. As long as he was constantly replenished with water, his kidneys would be strengthened. His ice blade wings was also like a fish in water. Wherever it cut, there would be a thin layer of extremely cold chi, and the water flow would be disturbed. Just as the whirlpool I was about to touch Yang Wu, the ice blade wings took the initiative and cut towards Hegel in advance. Hegel was very sensitive to the changes in water profound chi. He could still sense the cold chi released by the ice blade wings. However, he did not have the ability to see through invisible things. He only made a normal defense and wondered what kind of power was approaching him. When the ice blade wings approached him, his hair stood on end. The water scale armor on his body thickened layer by layer, and his body retreated quickly. Unfortunately, it was too late. The ice blade wings ruthlessly cut through his body. Clang! The ice blade wings slashed at his aqua scale armor. The aqua scale armor, which could withstand attacks from celestial soldiers, was instantly broken. An extremely cold ice chi quickly spread throughout his body, freezing his movements. A layer of ice crystals quickly froze his body. He desperately circulated his energy to block it, but the extreme cold ice chi was even stronger in the water. It directly penetrated his bones, causing him to scream in pain. Ah! The moment he was hit by the ice blade wings, the power of the whirlpool quickly shrank. Yang Wu could smash it with one hand. He sneered and said, "You can't escape." The ice blade wings were a part of his body. He could control it at will. It was shaken off by Hegel's power, but quickly came back. Hegel was uncomfortable from the cold. This was the power of the frost spring mysterious essence. Even a heaven realm expert could not withstand it. Under the ice blade wings slashed back and forth, Hegel's water scale armor continuously cracked. In the end, his body was cut in half from head to toe by the ice blade wings. When everyone saw this scene, their bodies and minds shuddered. This invisible killing was too terrifying. Was it really done by a top Earth-Sea realm genius? No one was a fool. They all thought that this was Yang Wu's potential talent. They silently noted in their hearts that they could not make an enemy of this kind of person. The White Water Clan's prince, by Luo Yun, had a look of worship on his face as he cried out, "Benefactor is so powerful." Bai Luoyin was ranked in the top 5 of the White Water Clan's younger generation. However, after seeing Yang Wu's battle, he felt ashamed of his inferiority. In his heart, he also thought that perhaps his elder brothers and sisters were not as good as Yang Wu. If they were on the surface of the water, they might be instantly killed by Yang Wu. Yang Wu looked back at everyone and said, "Why aren't you guys going in? What are you waiting for?" "Benefactor, after you." Bai Luoyin took the lead and rushed over. "My name is Yang Wu. Don't call me Benefactor." Yang Wu looked at Bai Luoyin and said seriously, "You saved my life, so you're my benefactor. In the future, you will also be an honored guest of my White Water Clan." Bai Luoyin made a strange gesture and said solemnly. Seeing this, the disciples of the Mount Hung sect revealed looks of envy. They clearly understood the meaning of this gesture. In their Mount Hung sect, only those who had helped the White Water Clan many times could receive this kind of treatment. Yang Wu had only saved them once and was already receiving this kind of treatment. His luck was too good. Yang Wu felt Bai Liyun's sincerity and nodded at him. "Let's not waste time here. Let's go in together. Benefactor is right. Everyone, follow Benefactor into the palace." Bai Luoyin loudly said. Thus, Yang Wu led everyone towards the Door of Light. When they approached the Door of Light, a wave of energy was born and sucked them in. This was the method of a saint. This palace belonged to a demon saint. After everyone entered the Door of Light, they arrived in a small space. There was a huge palace at the center, and there were dozens of broken palaces to the left and right. These palaces were crudely built, not as finely built as humans. There was a strong demonic aura permeating the air. It was indeed a demon palace. After everyone arrived, they found many corpses. There were members of the Black Water Clan, the White Water Clan, and the Mount Hung sect. Someone cried out, "Bai Baichao, how could you die here?" A member of the White Water Clan threw himself on a corpse and cried out in grief. Another member of the Mount Hung sect walked up to a corpse and said sadly, "Senior brother, you haven't fulfilled your wish yet. How could you die like this? I will definitely avenge you. Don't be sad here. There is a battle in the palace," Jiang Dongsheng said in a low voice. Then, he took the lead and rushed towards the palace. However, before he could fly far, a vine swept over from nowhere and quickly bound his feet, slamming him to the ground. At the same time, more vines grew out and attacked the others. Bai Luoyin cried out in alarm. "Everyone be careful. It's the cockroach vine mother. Don't get entangled by it or you will die." Sure enough, a plant appeared in a wasteland. It looked like a water cockroach, but in fact it was a plant. It could grow countless vines to attack any living creature. The cockroach vine mother in front of them had been growing for many years and had reached the peak of the heaven realm. This could be seen from the thousands of vines that grew out of it. It attacked everyone at the same time. It was clearly guarding the first stage of the palace. Everyone fled. No one dared to take the initiative to attack the cockroach vine mother. Without absolute power, fighting it would only lead to death. After the cockroach vine mother attacked, more than a dozen people could not make it in time. They were all bound and strangled by it. A lot of blood was devoured by it, leaving behind shriveled corpses. It was extremely terrifying. Just as everyone was using their methods to protect themselves and escape, Yang Wu did the opposite and rushed towards the cockroach vine mother. Yang Jie saw this and shouted, "Martial Heavenly King, what are you doing? Don't challenge such an evil thing." Yang Wu acted as if he did not hear him and continued to rush over. Dozens of vines crazily whipped at him to bind him. Even an advanced Heaven Realm expert could not withstand power. Just as the vines were about to land on Yang Wu, blue flames appeared on Yang Wu's body. When the vines touched the flames, it was as if they had met their nemesis and were quickly burned to ashes. Woo woo. When the cockroach vine mother let out a strange cry, it turned into a cockroach and swam away in the water to escape. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw the cockroach vine mother escape. Yang Wu said with a faint smile, "You can't escape." Volcano Finger. Chapter 557. Blue Enchantress. This was Yang Wu's Heartfire. Fire was basically unable to display any effects in water, but Blue Enchantress was different. It was a type of immortal fire seed that was born in extreme water power. When Little Hay discovered that Yang Wu had awakened this type of fire seed, she was envious. Now, Yang Wu was in the water palace, so Blue Enchantress could also display enough power. It was also the nemesis of the cockroach vine. No matter how powerful it was, it could not fight back against Blue Enchantress. The volcanic finger erupted and chased after the fleeing mother cockroach vine. Its firepower exploded like a volcanic eruption, and the resulting might was incomparably shocking. Although the mother cockroach vine was very powerful, it was still just a plant after all. It couldn't escape fast enough and was caught in the firepower of the volcanic finger. It was incinerated, and in the end, it was burned to death. Mutant fruits fell down one after another. Yang Wu was overjoyed. He rushed over and collected all the strange fruits in his hands. He muttered to himself, "There really are cockroach fruits. The quality is quite good." Yang Wu knew all kinds of herbs like the back of his hand. He knew that the cockroach vine contained cockroach fruits. Only by killing the cockroach vine could he obtain them. Ordinary people would only die if they ate the cockroach fruit. It contained a lot of power, but it was also extremely poisonous. It cannot be eaten directly. Only a high-level alchemist could use it and refine it into a pill. Not only would it not be poisonous, it would also greatly increase the pill's grade. This was also the reason why Yang Wu took the risk to deal with the cockroach vine. Bai Luoyin rushed over and asked curiously, "Benefactor, I'm afraid this cockroach fruit is useless to you. Why don't you trade it to me? This is a poisonous fruit. Do you dare to eat it?" Yang Wu asked back. "We don't dare to eat it, but we can force out the poison. However, if we do that, most of the cockroach fruit's medicinal properties will be lost. However, it is still much better than ordinary heavenly medicines." Bai Luoyin said honestly. They had lived by the water for generations and knew the effects of various water objects. They also knew how to use them. Yang Wu shook his head and said, "That would only waste the effect of the cockroach fruit." "Benefactor, do you know how to use the cockroach fruit?" Bai Luoyin asked. Yang Jie, who followed behind, said, "Martial Heavenly King is a heavenly alchemist. There are probably not many here who know more about medicine than him." After he finished speaking, he regretted it. Why did he expose Yang Wu's identity? Wasn't that causing trouble for Yongwu? Fortunately, most people were skeptical of his words. Yongwu looked so young. How could he possibly be a heavenly alchemist? However, Bai Luoyun believed him. He excitedly asked Yongwu, "Benefactor is so powerful. Can you refine a heaven pill for me? Hurry up and go in. The inheritances in the palace are almost all gone." Yongwu avoided answering the question. Everyone else quickly rushed toward the palace. A member of the Whitewater clan said to Bai Luoyun, "Fifth prince, let's go support third prince and the others." "All right, third brother has been here for a long time, so he should have some gains. Let's go support him," Bai Luoyun replied. Then he looked at Yongwu and said, "Benefactor, will you come with us?" If they could obtain the support of Yongwu's power, their chances of winning would be even better. Yongwu had no reason to refuse. "Then let's go take a look together." He felt that the summoning here was getting stronger and stronger. He had to enter the main hall. Just as they were advancing, someone cried out in surprise, "Heavenly medicine algae star flower. There's a blue silver stone here. It's a good item for refining weapons. Look, there's a spirit spring over there. It seems to be raising living creatures." When everyone saw the things in front of the palace, their eyes turned red. These were not heavenly medicines, but heavenly treasures. Their value was extraordinary. There were many at the bottom of the Yangtze River, but it was not easy to find them. They could easily see them here, so they were all jealous. Just as they were about to take these things, Bai Luoyun said loudly, "Although the things here are good, I'm afraid there are even more amazing things in the main hall. Everyone, let's hurry to the palace first." Rumble, rumble. Suddenly, there was a terrifying explosion in the palace. Many people frantically escaped from the palace. A voice sounded, "Run, we can't stay here any longer. Damn it. How could there be such a powerful puppet left behind? It's clearly a trap. We can't subdue it without a holy object. We have to ask the holy object to come out." After fighting for so long, we actually alarmed such a terrifying fellow. I'm really unwilling. In the palace, members of the Blackwater clan, Whitewater clan, and Hung Mountain sect fled for their lives. After they escaped, the palace regained its calm once again, as if nothing had happened. Everyone had a look of relief on their faces. It was obvious that they were frightened by the things in the hall. "Let's get rid of these eyesores first and occupy this place alone," the leader of the Blackwater clan shouted. This was a top heaven realm expert of the Blackwater clan. Behind him were more than 500 Blackwater clan members, including Heaven Realm and King Realm experts. They were extremely powerful. On the other hand, there were less than 200 people on the Whitewater clan side and less than 150 people on the Hung Mountain sect side. In total, there were not even 400 people. One had to know that they had more than 2,000 people before they came in. More than half of them had died in the battle, and many more had died in this palace. They had suffered heavy losses. "Hey Yuan, if you have the ability, fight with me alone. If you win, this place belongs to you. If you lose, this place belongs to us." A member of the Whitewater clan rushed out and replied, "Bai Wuming, do you think I'm a fool? We have more people than you. Why should we fight with you alone, idiot?" The Blackwater clan member called Hey Yuan sneered and waved his hand, giving the order to surround and kill the Whitewater clan and Hung Mountain sect members. "Third brother, I'll help you," Bai Luoyun impatiently cried out. Unfortunately, Bai Wuming did not seem to hear his voice and engaged in an intense battle with He Yuan and the others. It was also at this moment that something charged out and attacked Bai Luoyun's group. Those were dead water demons. They seemed to have been branded with some kind of power. Although they were dead, they still had a powerful will to fight. They should be the water puppet demons guarding this place. There were still many corpses around these water puppet demons. There were also many destroyed water puppet demons. This place was also an obstacle. Bai Luoyun was worried about his brother's safety. He led the dozens of clansmen behind him to attack the hundreds of water demons here. The people from the Hung Mountain sect also moved to help. There were many water demons here, and they were very powerful. If they could not even pass this trial, there was no way they could get close to the palace. Yang Jie, Li Xiao, and the others also did their best to help. Yang Wu transmitted his voice to them. "You guys can just search for treasures outside and train. If you go in deeper, you will only die. Martial Heavenly King is right. I will stay outside and train. Yang Jie agreed. Li Xiao replied, That's right. There are also many treasures outside. We will be content outside. The demonic beast palace was incomparably dangerous. They were only at the Earthsea realm and would not be of much use. Staying here was the best choice. After Yang Wu finished speaking, he rushed forward. He could already see that there was a water barrier in front of them. Only by rushing through the water barrier would they be able to see the real palace. He did not want to waste too much time here. These water puppet demons were terrifying, but it would not be easy to stop him. His body was like a swimming dragon as he continuously dodged the attacks of the water demons. He did not want to fight them head-on. As he rushed forward, he discovered that there were many king medicines, heavenly medicines, and all kinds of good things growing in this place. Every one of them was very valuable. There were so many good things in the outer area. It was obvious that there would be even more treasures inside the palace. Just as Yang Wu was distracted, a water demon puppet with the head of a tiger and the body of a lion rushed in front of him. Its huge claws swiped down with earth-shattering power. Yang Wu reacted quickly and dodged. A war spear appeared in his hand, and he stabbed at the water demon puppet. The spear stabbed into the side of the water demon puppet and pierced through its body. The water demon puppet was an inanimate object, so it did not feel anything after being stabbed by the spear. It waved its claws and attacked Yang Wu again. Puppets must be attacked at their core. Only then can they be easily killed. Yang Wu thought to himself as his eyes locked onto the water demon puppet's glabella. There was a glimmer of light flashing there. It should be the core of the puppet, and also the source of the puppet's power. Yang Wu's spear moved according to his will. First, he pulled it out from the water demon puppet's body and then swept it towards the puppet's glabella. Pung! The war spear's power was boundless. When it hit the puppet's forehead, the power there collapsed, and the water demon puppet naturally fell apart. Attack their foreheads, Yang Wu said in a long voice. Although he did not have much of a relationship with most of the people here, he did not mind forming a good relationship with them. In the future, if they could not be friends, he would try his best not to be enemies. Yang Wu simply went all out and fought fiercely with the water demon puppets here. Before, he had only used one move in the water. Now, he wanted to practice the rebel dragon spear arts. This battle skill could still be used in the water. His body was like a dragon and his movements like a lion. Wherever the war spear went, there would be water demon puppets that were killed. There were strong and weak water demon puppets, but they were not all trash. Even if he encountered a heaven's pride like Yang Wu, there were still water demon puppets that could threaten him. There was a water crocodile puppet that was the most powerful. It was dozens of feet long and had thick skin and flesh. When it was alive, it was definitely a water demon puppet that surpassed the peak heaven realm. After it became a puppet, its battle power was greatly reduced. However, it could still burst out with the battle power of a peak heaven realm warrior. It bit with its long mouth and whipped with its tail. Some water demon puppets were killed by it. It rushed in front of Yang Wu and bit with its mouth. Its sharp teeth were as sharp as divine weapons. Its attack speed was so fast that Yang Wu could not retreat in time. He could only brace himself and block it. He also released the ice blade wings and cut towards the crocodile puppet's forehead. Just when he thought that the ice blade wings would succeed, he found that the ice blade wings could not penetrate the crocodile armor between the crocodile puppet's eyebrows. His attack could not stop the puppet, and he was bitten by it. Chapter 558. The water crocodile puppet was an existence that surpassed the heaven realm when it was alive. Its skin was thick, its flesh was thick, and its teeth were sharp. It could bite and swallow anything. How could Yang Wu survive after falling into its mouth? At the critical moment, Yang Wu raised his battle spear and pierced the upper jaw of the water crocodile puppet, delaying the fate of being swallowed. Pah! This battle spear that was at the quasi-minor saint realm couldn't withstand the power of the water crocodile puppet. It only lasted for a moment before it shattered. Yang Wu took advantage of this moment to fly out of its mouth. He was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. He roared fiercely, "Break for me!" He increased the power of the ice blade wings and slashed at the glabella of the water crocodile puppet. It split open quite a bit of the water crocodile puppet, but it didn't injure it. It continued to bite at him. He retreated at full speed. The ice blade wings continued to slash crazily, but it was still one step away from breaking open its leather armor. This water crocodile puppet was truly covered in defensive treasures. Seeing that the water crocodile puppet was about to catch up to Yangwu again, he had no choice but to open his soul eye. A beam of soul light shot at the glabella of the water crocodile puppet. The soul light was invisible, and the crocodile's skin couldn't block its power. The power at the glabella of the water crocodile puppet was scattered by the soul light. The water crocodile puppet lost its power and finally stopped half a foot away from Yangwu. Yangwu let out a sigh of relief. He put away the water crocodile puppet. Perhaps one day, he could refine it into his own puppet and help him. This water crocodile puppet was already a very powerful existence among the many puppets. The other puppets weren't that difficult to deal with. Yangwu took out another battle spear and continued to use these puppets to practice. He performed the dragon rebel spear art more and more exquisitely. He faintly realized that the water in the surroundings seemed to be able to be used by him. Could the essence of the dragon rebel spear technique be the ability to control water? Yangwu wondered. Yangwu wielded the battle spear with greater and greater force. Countless clear water surged towards him in a frenzy. White snakes appeared, green flood dragons roared, tiger demons leaped. These were all the battle shadows of the dragon rebel spear. They were all used to perfection by Yangwu, and their power grew stronger and stronger. The water demon puppets that charged towards him were destroyed by the spear shadows one by one. Bang bang. In the blink of an eye, dozens of water-kind puppets around Yangwu were destroyed, and all the water-kind creatures around him were wiped out. Yangwu came back to his senses and laughed in delight. So the true essence of the reverse dragon spear art lies in the water. With my battle blood and spear technique combined, and with my affinity for water, I can unleash the strongest battle technique. Bai Luoyun, who was not far away from Yangwu, saw this and cried out in awe. Benefactor, you really are the son of the water god. Bai Luoyun was a member of the water race, so he had the ability to control water. When he discovered that there were humans who could do the same thing as them, he could not help but be amazed. He could even feel that Yangwu was vaguely emitting an invisible force that affected him, making him feel closer to Yangwu. Furthermore, Yangwu and Yang Jie both had battle blood, but the difference between him and Yangwu was like the difference between heaven and earth. Yangwu did not tarry any longer. He charged towards the palace. He opened his soul eye and discovered that there was a curtain of water blocking his way. This curtain of water should have been released by some kind of power. The palace was still quite a distance away from him. He looked in a certain direction with his soul eye and saw two stone flood dragons to his left and right. They had crystalline water droplets in their mouths, and the power of the curtain of water came from these water droplets. These are illusory water droplets? Yangwu was puzzled. Yangwu had read some books about the transcendent realm, and he had memorized most of the spirit treasures. The two droplets in front of him could release illusions, and they were the illusory water droplets from the records. These droplets were very useful for setting up arrays, and they were also very useful for people who were good at using illusions. They were extremely valuable. Other than the two droplets and the stone flood dragons that were hidden by the array, he could not discover their existence without using his soul eye. If he were to recklessly charge towards the curtain of water, he would definitely be killed by the power of the restriction. There were many corpses on the ground, and that was enough to explain everything. Yangwu did not understand array formations, but he had his soul eye and could see the profoundness of this place. He quickly approached the position of the illusory water droplet and grabbed it with one of his hands. Just as he was about to grab the illusory water droplet, the stone flood dragon suddenly came to life and rushed towards him to bite him. Roar! The stone flood dragon was not a living thing, nor was it a puppet. How could it move? In fact, the stone flood dragon did not move. It was just a flood dragon battle chi that was attached to it. Yangwu wanted to seize the illusory water droplet, So he activated this power to kill him. Just a flood dragon battle chi had the power to kill a peak heaven realm expert. How could Yongwu block it? Yongwu was still in the Earthsea realm. As long as the heavenly fish did not grow scales, he would not be able to make a breakthrough. Right now, he had to use all his strength to fight against this flood dragon. Dragon Rebel Spear, Art 7 strikes. Yongwu unleashed his full combat strength and used the Dragon Rebel Spear art in one go. Different moves and different powers created an extremely powerful attack that collided with the Flood Dragon Battle Chi. Rumble, rumble. The Flood Dragon's Battle Chi was like a living dragon as it collided with Yongwu and sent him tumbling far away. Yongwu's chest was caved in and blood constantly seeped out. The pain was unbearable. However, this was not the end. The Flood Dragon still wanted to bite his body and swallow him alive. Yongwu had the heavenly armor, but he still couldn't block the counterattack of this Battle Chi. He screamed in pain. The others had no time to pay attention to Yongwu's situation. They were all focused on dealing with the water demon puppets. If they couldn't even defeat the puppets, then they wouldn't be able to help their companions. At this time, Bai Luoyin took out a horn. This horn belonged to an ancient rhinoceros and contained extraordinary power. He shouted to the Water Tribe and Mount Hung's sect, "Everyone, please gather around me. I will use the sacred horn to open a path." The others all rushed towards Bai Luoyin. Bai Luoyin held the sacred horn and blew it. Woo-woo. The sound of the sacred horn contained an inexplicable power. A rhinoceros shadow descended. It was as huge as a mountain, with a sacred horn on its head. It stepped on the waves and charged forward angrily. Bai Luoyin and the others were enveloped by this power. As the rhinoceros charged forward, it smashed through countless water demon puppets and rushed towards the water curtain illusion. Yongwu wasn't among the group. Just as he was about to be killed by the Flood Dragon Battle Chi, Bai Luoyin rushed in with the sacred bowl. The Flood Dragon Battle Chi gave up on him and attacked the rhinoceros shadow together with the other Flood Dragon Battle Chi and the power contained in the water curtain. Two dragons fighting for the pearl, Xian Chi surged. Rumble. The two flood dragons worked together and formed a power comparable to the dragon transformation realm. They fought against the rhinoceros shadow and created waves. Yongwu heaved a sigh of relief and said to himself, "The flood dragon Battle Chi is so powerful. It seems that I can't be arrogant anymore." Ever since he came out of the broken space and became the first heavenly king, he was full of confidence and didn't care about anything. Now that he encountered the Flood Dragon Battle Chi and saw Bai Luoyin break the water curtain with the sacred horn, he came back to his senses. He seemed powerful now, but in fact, he was not worth mentioning in the transcendent realm. There were many people more powerful than him who had not appeared yet. There were also various sacred objects with amazing power. As long as one of them attacked with a sacred object, they could kill him. Now is not the time for him to be arrogant. Bai Luoyin and the others broke through the water curtain. The water curtain's power condensed again, and the flood dragon's shadow solidified again. However, the speed was slow, and it didn't recover its original power so quickly. Yongwu used his Eye of the Soul to observe. He found that the power came from the power of heaven and earth around him. There was also a wisp of another power. This wisp of power caused his battle blood and immortal chi to be absorbed. "Is this the flawless saint power?" Yongwu said with a look of joy. The flawless saint power was condensed from the blood essence of the saints when they were alive. It was very powerful. After death, the saints would spread their saint power and leave their inheritance to the world to help their descendants break through the divine path. He looked back at the water demon puppets. They also exuded faint traces of saint power. It was not as obvious as the flood dragon battle chi, but it could still help them recover their puppets' bodies. As long as the saint power did not dissipate, they could continue to recover and stop the later generations. This was the saint's method. However, this was not the point. The point was that the saint power could be absorbed. The flawless saint power was the same as the flawless saint heart. They were both purified and could be absorbed. Even a dragon transformation realm warrior would be jealous. When everyone broke in, They only cared about rushing into the palace to get the good things inside and ignored the saint power in front of them. Yang Wu's eyes shone. His body rushed toward the flood dragon battle chi like a lion. His battle spear was full of power to hit the flood dragon battle chi. Bang! The flood dragon battle chi had not yet solidified, so it could not withstand such a fierce blow from Yang Wu. Once again, it collapsed. In the next moment, Yang Wu used the supreme 9 Mysteries mantra. He opened his mouth, and a strong suction force shrouded the flood dragon battle chi, swallowing it into his stomach. Yang Wu did not have time to digest it. He attacked another flood dragon battle chi. This one had just reformed and could not recover much power. It was scattered and sucked into his mouth. When the 2 flood dragon battle chi entered his stomach, it was as if 2 flood dragons were wreaking havoc in his body. They wanted to destroy his body. His meridians and organs were all ravaged and torn apart. The pain was unbearable. If he could not refine the 2 flood dragon battle chi, he would be killed by their power. Yang Wu had suffered countless hardships. His endurance was very strong. He gritted his teeth and used the supreme 9 Mysteries mantra. The speed of the circulatory cycle was 100 times or even 1,000 times faster than any other mantra. The flood dragon battle chi was scattered. Immortal chi rushed over and swallowed it. The war blood was also absorbing the saint chi. The 2 flood dragon battle chi were divided into 3 parts. The largest part was immortal chi. It swallowed it the fastest. The second was the supreme 9 Mysteries mantra. Its refining speed was not slow either. After refining the saint chi into his dantian, the celestial fish quickly formed and showed signs of growing scales. The war blood absorbed the saint chi and the power of the bloodline increased. Chapter 559. The Jiao Dragon Battle Chi was condensed by the saint power. Every wisp of the saint power was not something a warrior of the Earthsea realm could withstand. If he was not careful, he would not be able to refine the power and would explode. Fortunately, Yang Wu's body was extraordinary, so he could withstand the raging Jiao Dragon Battle Chi. Moreover, he had a wisp of divine chi, which was enough to reduce the danger of devouring the saint power. After devouring most of the saint power, the divine chi only grew a little. If one did not look carefully, one would not notice the changes. The Earthsea in his dantian changed the most. Waves of the Earthsea's power were incessant. His acupoints shone like stars, and his meridians emitted bursts of explosive sounds like thousands of arrows. These all represented that Yang Wu's power was rapidly increasing. However, these were not the most attractive. The most attractive thing was that the heavenly fish in the Earthsea had completely condensed. It was alive and had the impulse to jump up and devour the bright moon above the sea at any time. As more saint power entered, the eye of the Earthsea continuously gathered saint power and poured it all into the heavenly fish. Its body finally grew fish scales. These were blue fish scales, shining and extremely moving. The bright moon rose above the sea, and the heavenly fish condensed in the Earthsea. The heavenly fish became a living fish with scales. It devoured heaven and earth. The mysterious bridge of heaven and earth turned into a rainbow and connected to the divine quartz tau flower. Its petals bloomed, and the spiritual energy and chi gathered on the mysterious bridge of heaven and earth. It completely solidified the mysterious bridge of heaven and earth and became the bridge between the soul, I, and the dantian. Its function was to accelerate the absorption and control of the heaven and earth chi from the outside world and to display the combat power of the heavenly fish realm. In addition, it had many other wonderful functions, such as the speed of the circulatory cycle skyrocketing and the speed of healing. The 12 standard meridians and 8 extraordinary meridians all focused on the mysterious bridge of heaven and earth, thus strengthening the body of martial arts. The 12 main meridians were the basic meridians that operated the human body, controlling the 5 viscera and 6 bowels. The 8 great extraordinary meridians each focused on one aspect, excavating the human body's potential. If the 8 great extraordinary meridians were not opened, the human body would never be able to awaken its potential. Only by opening the 8 great extraordinary meridians would one be able to touch the human body's treasures and unlock its potential. Yang Wu had opened all his meridians and acupoints when he was still a warrior. That was why he had awakened so many talents. Now, he finally broke through the heavenly fish realm with the holy power of the 2 Jiao dragon battle chis. He opened the mysterious bridge of heaven and earth and accepted the power of heaven and earth. All his meridians, acupoints, organs, and talents were sublimated. Some of the basic talents, such as eyes, ears, and nose, had become completely different. This was the benefit of the Earth-Sea condensed fish. In addition, the Tao flower in the celestial court had grown another petal. It was still very small and could not be compared to the other 7 petals, but it had reached the 8-petaled Tao flower. His soul power was growing rapidly, and the power of his eye of the soul had become extremely terrifying. All of this happened in a moment. There was no one around. No one knew that Yang Wu was breaking through. The surrounding water demon puppets did not come to disturb him. Perhaps it was because Yang Wu had absorbed the holy power here like them, and was one of them, so they did not attack him. The Jiao Dragon Battle Chi had been divided. Yang Wu's strength was increasing rapidly. He did not wake up so quickly and was still in the process of enjoying it. The increase in strength was not only an increase in the realm, but also a great benefit. This was because this was the holy power, the battle chi that had condensed into the combat power of the top heavenly realm. Even if most of it had been absorbed by the divine chi, the rest was still very beneficial to him. The biggest change was the peach stone's dantian. The ethereal aura of its 1,000 orifices had become stronger. The peach stone emitted a sparkling power. A sprout grew out of one of its orifices. The specks of green light were incomparably sacred. The wisp of divine chi seemed to have found a home. It directly wrapped around the sprout and nourished it. The sprout opened and closed, absorbing the divine chi. Most of the divine chi disappeared, and it grew a little. Yang Wu looked at this scene and was completely dumbfounded. More than half of the divine chi had disappeared. It was equivalent to more than half of his holy chi being absorbed in vain. F*CK. What the hell is this? Yang Wu cursed loudly. No matter who it was, if they saw something growing out of their body, they would be shocked. Yang Wu was no exception. Yang Wu sensed the little green sprout with his divine will and found that it was isolated by the immortal chi. He couldn't find out what it was, but he could clearly feel that it grew from the peach pit. He couldn't help but have a strange thought. It won't grow into a peach tree, will it? This peach stone was given to him by Little Hay. It was said that it was an immortal peach stone. He did not know why it became his dantian and helped him to embark on the path of cultivation. It could be said that the peach stone's dantian played an important role in his achievements today. Now that it had grown out, he did not know whether it was good or bad. He was afraid that one day a peach stone would grow out of his body and his body would be replaced by it. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment. He shook his head and said to himself, "It's still small now. It shouldn't be a problem. When I find Little Hay and ask it, I'll know what's going on." Now he was in the middle of a battlefield. It was not the time to think about these questions. Yang Wu looked at the water demon puppets. His eyes were like the roar of a dragon, sharp and powerful. He clenched his hands and said with a smile, "Your holy chi is mine." After that, Yang Wu flew out as light as a swallow. His war spear moved with him, and the spear radiance kept pointing between the eyebrows of the water demon puppets. A series of muffled explosions rang out, and a thin trace of holy chi spread out. If one didn't sense it carefully, they wouldn't be able to sense it. The holy chi was diluted and much weaker than the flood dragon battle chi. The holy chi of dozens of water demon puppets was not as much as that of a flood dragon battle chi. But no matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. For Yang Wu, who had just entered the heaven realm, the holy chi could increase his strength. It was more practical than swallowing any elixir. Yang Wu had entered the heavenly fish realm. His combat strength had soared more than 10 times. It was completely different from the Earthsea realm. His eyes were sharp. The attacks of the water demon puppets were like child's play to him. Even if the water demon puppet's combat strength was comparable to that of an advanced heavenly fish realm cultivator, they were still water demon puppets. They had lost 70% of their combat strength, even if they were supported by holy chi. Wherever Yang Wu went, water demon puppets fell. Holy chi kept entering his body, but this little bit of holy chi was all absorbed by the immortal chi. His Dantian and Warblood could not even get 1/10 of it. Yang Wu felt very sad, but he quickly adjusted his mood. After all, this was not power that he had cultivated. Let the immortal chi absorb it. But what made him want to vomit blood was that after the immortal chi was absorbed, it was all poured onto Luya Er's body, making her even more beautiful. The immortal chi was Yang Wu's life-saving trump card. It had helped him recover his life force many times. Its strengthening meant that he could recover his strength faster. But its strengthening power was poured onto Luya Er. He could not take it anymore. When I figure out what's going on with you one day, I will definitely get you out, Yang Wu said fiercely. He vented his anger on the water demon puppets. Nearly 200 water demon puppets became ghosts under his spear. His dragon reverse spear technique had successfully reached the perfect realm. It was easy to use, and his combat strength was comparable to that of an advanced heavenly fish realm cultivator. After these water demon puppets were killed, most of them were destroyed. Only a few were able to retain their puppet bodies. They were very powerful when they were alive. They were at least in the heaven realm or even higher. Yang Wu took all of these puppets. They were all treasures. He could refine them again to extract materials. He could also infuse them with energy and turn them into battle puppets. The only thing was that he needed to know how to make puppets. After Yang Wu was done with all of this, he locked onto the stone Jiao once again. They had lost their Saint Chi and Jiao battle chi. Only the two illusory water pearls were still stuck in the stone Jiao's mouth. Yang Wu made his move again and grabbed the two illusory water pearls. This time, he was not attacked by the Jiao battle chi. When the illusory water pearls were taken, the illusion disappeared. The formation also began to change. Everything in front of him suddenly became clear. It turned out that the huge palace was still far away. In front of him were the ruins of the palace. There were all kinds of spiritual items on the ground. Some were herbs, some were stones, and some were even rare. The people fighting in front of him did not seem to notice the changes here. They were still fighting crazily. The Black Water Tribe and the White Water Tribe each took out their powerful saint weapons. They exploded with extremely strong power. However, there was a suppressive force here. The saint weapons could only use a small part of their power. They could not destroy the place again. Both sides wanted to kill each other and take all the treasures in the palace. With the addition of Bai Luoyun and the others, the White Water Tribe and the Hung Mountain sect shared some of the pressure. However, it was still very difficult to defeat the Black Water Tribe. In the end, both sides would probably suffer. Just as the two sides were in a stalemate, a woman from the Hung Mountain sect took out a small saint's sword. She killed in all directions, forcing the Black Water Tribe to use all their trump cards. If the two sides wanted to take each other down, they would have to fight to the end. Someone from the Black Water Tribe said loudly, "By Wuming, if we continue fighting like this, we might all die in the end. Why don't we send 7 people to fight to the death? Whoever wins, in the end, will have this place. What do you think?" The person who spoke was the prince of the Black Water Tribe, He Yuan. His combat strength had reached the Middle Heaven realm. He held a saint weapon and had a powerful aura. The third prince of the White Water Tribe, Bai Wuming, hesitated for a moment before saying, "Okay." Now, both sides had suffered many casualties. If they continued fighting, it would not be good for either side. He Yuan's suggestion was still very tempting. "Okay, we will use our saint weapons to open up the battlefield. Each side will send 7 people in. The 14 of them will fight to the end. The one who survives will win," He Yuan said decisively. Then, he threw out the saint weapon in his hand. Bai Wuming also released his saint weapon. The two saint weapons formed a saint battle arena for both sides to fight. Chapter 560. He Yuan, the sacred arena has been set up. If we all swear an oath, we can invite people to enter the sacred arena. Bai Wuming said in a clear voice. Forget about the oath. Could it be that you don't trust us? He Yuan replied with a sly expression. Whether I trust you or not, only the heavens and earth know. We are willing to swear an oath. In the life and death arena, the winner will occupy this place and the loser will leave. Those who violate this oath will be punished by the heavens and earth. Bai Wuming was not an idiot. He immediately swore an oath to block He Yuan's path of retreat. However, this suggestion was made by He Yuan, so he was not afraid of swearing an oath. He coldly laughed and said, We are also willing to swear an oath. Those who violate this oath will be punished by the heavens and earth. Between the heavens and earth, there seemed to be an indescribable power above their heads, proving that the oath of the heavens and earth had been fulfilled. Whichever side dared to violate, it will be punished by the heavens. This was not a joke. The heavens and earth could not be deceived. Good. Next, each of you can choose someone to enter the arena. Bai Wuming said, Haha, I want to see how many of you can use. He Yuan laughed proudly and began to choose a few people to enter the sacred arena with him. He Meng, He Ya, He Shi, He Go, He Xia, He Sha, step out and fight with this prince in the sacred arena. These people were all peak heavenly fish realm cultivators. They all had extraordinary battle strength and were the strongest 6 people in their group. Adding him in, they were the peak battle strength of the Blackwater race. Bai Wuming also loudly said, Bai Xia, Bai Kun, Bai Luo, Bai Yu, come with me. After pausing for a moment, he looked at a woman from the Mount Hung sect and said respectfully, Young Miss Shu, you should also send 2 people. No matter the result, we will compensate your sect. The blue-clothed woman faintly said, Deacon Bai and I will fight this battle. Someone stood out and said, Young miss, you can't take the risk. Let me do it. Another person said, That's right. Young miss, you have the heavy responsibility of revitalizing Mount Hung. You shouldn't participate in this battle. The others also agreed. They did not want this woman called Shu Yujun to fight. Shu Yujun said resolutely, I've already made up my mind. You don't have to persuade me anymore. Besides, none of you are better at water battles than I am. I also want a spot. Yang Hongchang walked out with his spear and said confidently. Everyone looked at Yang Hongchang in confusion, not knowing who he was. Yang Hongchang coughed awkwardly. I am the Yang family's flood spear, Yang Hongchang, and I am here to help you seize this palace. With your meager strength, forget about it. Withdraw, said an old deacon of the Mount Hung sect. He was Deacon Bai Hao, whom Shu Yujun had mentioned. Bai Hao was at the top of the heavenly fish realm, so he was definitely one of the top fighters here. My Yang family, as a battle clan, is most proficient in water battles. Yang Hongchang still wanted to argue, but unexpectedly Bai Wuming interrupted him and said, Many thanks for your help, but this matter is of great importance. We cannot let you go on stage. You don't know how to appreciate good intentions. Yang Hongchang said unhappily, but there was nothing he could do. After all, this was not their Yang family's territory. Third prince, I'm afraid Bai Luo can't go on stage. Look at his injuries. A Whitewater clan member pointed at a middle-aged Whitewater clan member and said. That middle-aged Whitewater clan member said loudly. Who said I can't go on stage? I can. Everyone looked at him and saw that one of his arms was almost broken. He was barely able to use his profound chi to repair it, but it was impossible for him to recover in a short period of time. His battle strength was greatly reduced. At this time, Bai Wuming finally noticed Bai Luo's injuries. He revealed a guilty expression and said, Uncle, it was my oversight. I definitely can't drag our Whitewater clan down. If I don't go, what ability do they have to go on stage for me? Bai Luo said firmly. Other than a few others, even if his battle strength had reached the high-level heaven realm, the others were still lacking. If they couldn't even reach the high-level heaven realm, they would definitely die in the upper holy arena. Moreover, it would affect the final result of this battle. Bai Wuming looked at the people beside him, and his gaze finally landed on a middle-level peak heaven realm clansman, and said, Bai Qi, you go on stage for Bai Luo? It was unknown who heard this name, but they couldn't help but laugh out loud. Who's laughing? Bai Weiming was in a state of anxiety. When he heard someone laughing, he couldn't help but scold loudly. He saw a youth slowly walk over. He cupped his hands and said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself." "Who are you? Why are you laughing?" Bai Weiming frowned and stared at Yang Wu as he questioned. Yang Wu was about to introduce himself when Bai Luoyun said from the side, "Third brother, don't be angry. He is my benefactor. If he didn't save me, I would have died outside. If I don't care who he is. If he dares to look down on my clansmen again, I will not forgive him." Bai Weiming coldly snorted. At this time, He Yuan laughed and said, "Bai Weiming, you guys still haven't chosen a good person? If you don't have anyone to send, you might as well admit defeat." Another member of the Blackwater clan mocked. "That's right. With just you guys, you want to compete with us? You might as well kill yourselves." The people from the Hung Mountain sect are really something. They clearly know that the Whitewater clan is weak, yet they still help them. They clearly want to steal our treasures. No matter what, they will definitely lose this battle. This palace belongs to our Blackwater clan. The expressions of the Whitewater clan and the Hung Mountain sect were not good. Currently, only 4 of the people they sent were at the peak Heavenly Fish realm. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun were at the high-level Heavenly Fish realm. Bai Qi was at the middle-level Heavenly Fish realm. The other side had 6 people at the peak Heavenly Fish realm and 1 at the high-level Heavenly Fish realm. With such a disparity in strength, anyone could see who was strong and who was weak. There were people from the Hung Mountain sect who tried to persuade Shu Yujun to give up this battle. They were allies of the Whitewater clan, but that didn't mean they would die with the Whitewater clan. To fight or not to fight? Bai Weiming looked at Shu Yujun and said, "Miss Shu, your Hung Mountain sect should withdraw from this battle. Our Whitewater clan will bear the burden alone." This battle not only concerned the ownership of the palace, but also the glory of the 2 clans. The Whitewater clan had already sworn that they would not back down, even if they died in battle. "No, since our Hung Mountain sect has allied with your Whitewater clan, we will do our best to help. If we back down today, will you still trust our Hung Mountain sect in the future?" Shu Yujun said resolutely. She then added, "Besides, even if you believe us today, if you encounter the same situation in the future, will you be willing to die with us?" It had to be said that this woman was very decisive and had a strong sense of loyalty. Ordinary women would not be able to take on this responsibility. "Well said. Our Hung Mountain sect is willing to fight with you to the end." Bai Hao agreed. "Cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight." Someone from the Blackwater clan shouted. Bai Luoyun said loudly, "Are you all in a rush to reincarnate? I'll invite one person to kill all of you." After saying this, he walked over to Yang Wu and made a solemn bow to Yang Wu. "Benefactor, can you represent our Whitewater clan in this battle? I know that this battle will be dangerous and unpredictable. If Benefactor is willing to help, the sacred rhinoceros horn in my hand will belong to you. I am also willing to listen to your orders for 10 years. The Whitewater clan was dumbfounded. Bai Luoyun was one of the most outstanding princes of their Whitewater clan. Yet, he had actually promised a human that he would be willing to serve him for 10 years. This was equivalent to becoming someone else's slave. This was a great humiliation. However, from another perspective, Bai Luoyun was willing to give up his dignity in order to win this battle. How great was he? Everyone's eyes focused on Yang Wu. They all wanted to see if he had 3 heads and 6 arms to make a prince of the Whitewater clan submit to him. Yang Wu had broken through to the Heavenly Fish realm. His spotless body was even more outstanding. His skin was tender and his body was as strong as a lion's. His eyes were like lightning and his aura was like a dragon's. He was like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. Even Shu Yujun, who had sharp eyes, revealed a trace of astonishment when she saw Yang Wu's appearance. Yang Wu had clearly just broken through to the Heavenly Fish realm. He could not control the Xian-Qi of heaven and earth as he wished. However, his aura was even more outstanding than a top Heavenly Fish realm warrior. "Fifth brother, what are you doing?" Bai Luoyun scolded Bai Weiming. "Third brother, I guarantee with my life that my benefactor will definitely defeat the Blackwater clan for us. Please give Bai Qi's spot to him," Bai Luoyun said solemnly. Nonsense. He has just entered the heavenly realm. What right does he have to go to the holy arena? Even if he is your benefactor, you can't play around like this. Quickly leave. Bai Weiming scolded with dissatisfaction. Third brother, without my benefactor, it would be difficult for us to rush over to help. Moreover, before he came, he was only in the king realm and killed Hegel. Now that he has broken through to the heavenly realm, I believe he is only stronger than Bai Qi, Bai Luoyan argued. So what? How can the gap between realms be closed so easily? We have already decided on our candidate. Don't continue to talk nonsense. Third brother, he is the first heavenly king. What first heavenly king? I don't know. If you say another word, I will punish you for the crime of disturbing the morale of the army. Forget it, forget it. Bai Luoyan shook his head and sighed in disappointment. At this time, Shu Yujun asked, is he really the first heavenly king? At this time, Yang Wu and Shu Yujun looked at each other and praised in their hearts. What a beautiful lady. Shu Yujun was wearing a blue muslin dress. Her figure was tall and moving, and her blue hair fluttered in the wind. Her beautiful eyes were like blue waves, and her skin was like sparkling jade. She also had an aura of a woman that was not inferior to men. She had a different kind of charm. Yang Jie said proudly. He is the first heavenly king who defeated the Young Hall king of the immortal temple, Yang Wu. Li Shao agreed. The title of the first heavenly king is set by the saints. How can it be fake? Yang Hongchang said loudly. He is a member of my Yang family, and he is my nephew. Everyone looked at Yang Hongchang with disdain. They felt that this guy really knew how to put gold on his face. Shu Yujun muttered, then let him join. Chapter 561. Shu Yujun's words carried enormous weight in the Hung Mountain sect, and no one dared to object. At the same time, they were deeply curious about Yang Wu. They all knew that the Heavenly King ranking tournament was being held recently, and there were disciples of the Hung Mountain sect who had become Heavenly Kings. However, no one was ranked in the top 10, let alone fighting for first place. Now, it was suddenly revealed that this youth was the first Heavenly King. They were extremely shocked. Bai Wuming frowned and said, "Isn't this too hasty?" Yang Wu had just broken through to the Heavenly Fish realm, and his aura had not stabilized yet. It was very difficult for him to accept letting such a youth enter the life and death battle. Third brother, I guarantee with my life that if he can't do it, none of us can. Bai Luoyan blindly believed in Yang Wu. All right, then let him participate. Bai Wuming said helplessly. Then he said to Yang Wu, follow us into the sacred arena life and death battle. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu spread his hands and said, what does this have to do with me? Everyone was stunned. Just now, it was Bai Luoyan who had taken the initiative to invite Yang Wu to fight, but Yang Wu had remained silent and did not agree. It seemed to be wishful thinking on their part. Benefactor, I can give you my sacred rhino horn. Please, you must fight. Bai Luoyan pleaded. Yang Wu shook his head and said, if I die in battle, no matter how good the item is, it has nothing to do with me. Don't try to shake our fighting spirit. If you think you can't do it, then withdraw. Bai Wuming reprimanded Yang Wu. Yang Wu met Bai Wuming's gaze and said, this is not your territory. Don't order me around. It's not impossible for me to fight. If I win, I want a third of the treasures here. As soon as he said this, someone shouted in shock. Who do you think you are? You want a third of the treasures. This person was Bai Hao from the Hung Mountain sect. He was a top-level heavenly fish, 3 realms stronger than Yang Wu. He really couldn't stand Yang Wu's exorbitant demands. Forget it, this kid is crazy. Let's fight. A Whitewater clansman said. A boy who has just entered the heavenly fish realm dares to speak so arrogantly. You really don't know what you're talking about. The person recommended by the 5th prince is too unreliable. Everyone looked at Yang Wu in an unfriendly manner. Initially, he had thought that they were on his side, but now he felt that they were even more despicable than the Blackwater tribesmen. This little brat is worthy of being a descendant of my Yang family. What I want is this kind of heroic spirit. Yang Hongchang said proudly. The people you chose are really not bad. I'll give you 10 more breaths of time. If you still don't enter the sacred arena, I'll take it as your loss. He Yuan laughed wildly. Miss Shu, let's fight. Bai Wuming no longer looked at Yang Wu and turned to Shu Yujun to say. Shu Yujun ignored him and walked towards Yang Wu and said indifferently, Are you really sure you can win? One-on-one is uncertain, but if you want me to help you win this battle, it shouldn't be a problem. Yang Wu looked at Shu Yujun and replied. Shu Yujun was like a ripe peach, very attractive. Compared to the Rose of Death, Wan Lanxin was inferior. The main reason was the difference in realms. With every increase in realms, there would be a qualitative change in temperament, especially for women. If Wan Lanxin reached Shu Yujun's level of strength, Wan Lanxin would not be inferior to Shu Yujun. There are many spirit treasures here. 1/3 of them is too much. Shu Yujun stared at Yang Wu and said, Not much. Without me, you can't win. Yang Wu replied with a faint smile. Impudent. Do you really think our White Water Clan is a pushover? The White Water Clan member, named Bai Kun, was enraged. He shouted and rushed towards Yang Wu. A palm containing dense water profound chi slammed down towards Yang Wu. Bai Kun was at the peak of the mid-heaven realm. He had the strength to kill high heaven realm experts. He really couldn't stand this human's arrogance in front of them. It was as if they couldn't win without him. Bai Kun wanted to suppress the opponent and show his strength. It also proved that Yang Wu was just a braggart. Shu Yujun was beside Yang Wu. She could stop Bai Kun, but she didn't. She also wanted to see how strong Yang Wu was. If Yang Wu couldn't even take one move from Bai Kun, then everything would be in vain. Seeing Bai Kun's palm land in front of Yang Wu made his move. No one saw how he made his move. Bai Kun's palm was already caught by Yang Wu. Crack! Ah! The sound of bones breaking rang out. Bai Kun was sent flying with a miserable cry. Everyone's expression changed. They didn't see clearly what was going on. Okay, I'll give you 1/3 of the spirit treasures. Shu Yujun said straightforwardly. Miss Shu, Bai Wuming said unwillingly. Before he could finish, she replied, Without him, we would just be sending ourselves to death. With him, we might have a glimmer of hope. Bai Wuming looked at Shu Yujun and then looked at Yang Wu. He gritted his teeth and said, Okay, I hope you don't disappoint us. I don't want to die. Yang Wu replied with a faint smile. Do you still want to fight? If you don't, then I'll announce that you've lost and get out of here. He Yuan shouted loudly. On the sacred arena, no one is allowed to use a sacred weapon. Violators will be the loser. Bai Wuming shouted and led the White Water Clan towards the sacred arena. The sacred arena was originally a battlefield created by 2 sacred weapons. As long as it was a battle below a saint, it wouldn't be able to destroy the battlefield. However, if a sacred weapon was used, it would destroy the balance of the battlefield. Therefore, no one was allowed to use a sacred weapon. Who's afraid of who? He Yuan laughed and led the 6 people behind him into the sacred arena. Let's go too. Shu Yujun glanced at Yang Wu and called out to Bai Hao. She then turned into a blue light and flew towards the sacred arena. Both sides had 7 people lined up. The Black Water Clan's body was mainly black, and each of them had a strong water profound chi. There were 6 peak heaven realm experts and 1 high heaven realm expert. Such a force was the strongest here. On the White Water Clan's side, there were 4 people from the White Water Clan. Their skin color was mainly white and blue. Other than the difference in color, their appearance was similar to the Blackwater Clan. Shu Yujun, Bai Hao, and Yang Wu stood there, looking a little out of place. This battlefield is really interesting. After Yang Wu landed on the battlefield, he looked around and sized up the sacred arena battlefield. He seemed very curious. In the eyes of everyone, he was like a country bumpkin who had just entered the city. He was curious about everything and had no experience. Their hearts instantly lost confidence. Is this guy really reliable? He should have some strength, but he feels like a country bumpkin who has never seen the world. Let's hope he can bring us a surprise. This battle is very important. First Heavenly King. Is it the Heavenly King ranking battle that just ended not long ago? In the sacred arena, no one spoke any more nonsense. The battle was about to start. The 7 people from the Blackwater Clan quickly occupied 7 different positions. They released the water prison innate skill at the same time, forming a huge water prison that enveloped Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and Yang Wu. 7. Prison Illusory Death. Let's let you taste the power of our array and die. Black Abyss revealed a look of victory as he shouted. The blue light of the water prison continued to circulate, transforming into a wall of water. It was as if countless Blackwater clan people had appeared and were holding battle weapons to kill the 7 people who were surrounded. Not good. They are practicing an array. We must quickly break the array, or we will be killed by them. Bai Weiming cried out in alarm. Bai Weiming and the other Whitewater clan people all knew the water prison innate skill, but with the 7 people combined, their strength was not enough to break it. At this time, Shu Yujun coldly snorted and said, "Heaven-breaking mirror, break for me." A blue mirror appeared in her hand, and a power was released from it, shooting towards the Blackwater clan people who had rushed out of the water prison. The power of the sky-breaking mirror was no small matter. The Blackwater tribesman was forcibly pushed back into the water prison and disappeared. Shu Yujun continuously waved the heaven-breaking mirror's power, shooting out beams of water at the water prison's water prison. Unfortunately, there was no way to break the water prison. Not only that, but the water prison was also in a whirlpool with a strong rebound force that blocked most of the power and shot it back at Shu Yujun. Shu Yujun had no choice but to dodge and think of a way to break the array. The other Water Clan people also used their trump cards, shooting out waves of water. Each wave of power was enough to destroy a mountain, but when they landed on the water prison's water prison, they were unable to break it. Instead, they were bounced back, forcing them into a sorry state. In addition, the 7 Blackwater clan people hidden behind the water prison released crazy attacks. They constantly waved the water prison to shrink, and there was also an incomparably majestic power that continuously shot out. Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, Bai Hao, and the others could only defend. We must break the water prison first, otherwise we will all die. After Bai Weiming shouted an alarm, he used his trump card. A watermark slowly rose from his chest. That watermark was like a turtle demon, but also like other water demons. When it appeared, Bai Weiming's power was reduced by half. He roared, "Water Clan's water-suppressing seal, go for me." This 3rd brother has cultivated the water-suppressing seal. He is really powerful. Bai Luoyin cried out in surprise. The Whitewater Clan people cultivated the water-suppressing technique. If they wanted to condense the water-suppressing seal, they had to cultivate the water-suppressing technique to the 5th level. After reaching the 5th level, the water-suppressing seal could suppress all water. The Whitewater Clan people exclaimed excitedly, "The 3rd prince is invincible! The 3rd prince is invincible!" Sure enough, after the water-suppressing seal appeared, the flow of water in the water prison seemed to be blocked, and there was a flaw. The others seized the moment and attacked the water prison, determined to break the array. The water-suppressing seal is nothing. Watch my black dragon devour. Black Abyss sneered and rushed out of the water prison. His palms condensed into a black water dragon, which rushed toward the water-suppressing seal. Boom! Boom! Countless waves of water kept exploding, but this terrifying destructive power could not shake the sacred arena at all. At the same time, the other Blackwater Clan people activated their unique skills and attacked different opponents. Black Dog stared at Yang Wu and sneered, "Stupid human, come to die." Chapter 562. The water prison had already consumed the fighting power of the Whitewater Clan and Shu Yujun. Even if the water prison was broken by Bai Weiming's water-suppressing seal, Bai Weiming's fighting power was greatly reduced. As long as his water-suppressing seal was broken and the water prison was formed again, the others would not be able to stop it. Now, the Blackwater Clan rushed out from the water prison. Everyone rushed out from an unexpected angle, and the timing was very good. If anyone's reaction was slow, they would definitely be injured by the Blackwater Clan. Among them, Bai Hao was the best example. Even if he had the strength of the top heavenly fish realm and was good at water battles, there was still a gap between him and the Blackwater Clan. A black snake shadow rushed out from the black snake and bit at Bai Hao. Bai Hao's saber drew a beautiful arc and slashed at the snake shadow. Just when he thought he had succeeded, The black snake had already appeared behind him and stabbed a water fork at the back of his neck. When Baihao sensed the danger, he quickly dodged, but his shoulder was still stabbed. His heavenly scale armor could not block it, and blood gushed out. Baihao fought back and made a series of strong moves, but the black snake's body was ethereal and unpredictable. His attack completely missed. When the black snake appeared again, Baihao's thigh was stabbed again. "The water is our world," the black snake said triumphantly. "Then I'll cut off the water here." After all, Baihao is a top heavenly fish realm expert. He condensed all his strength and saber intent on his saber and slashed out a terrifying saber light. Wave-splitting sea, Baihao used all his strength. Water Xianxi was sucked out by him and condensed into a saber light that broke the sea and turned a river. If this was not the holy arena, this saber strike would have changed the color of heaven and earth. Slash! When the saber fell, the black snake was not killed. Instead, there was a water fork on Baihao's chest. Shu Yujun was much stronger than Baihao. She was only a high-level heavenly fish realm expert, but her fighting power was not inferior to Baihao's at all. She also had the water talent. Her opponent was Black Fiend, and his attack contained the power of Water Fiend. Whirlpools swirled towards her like tornadoes. Without a word, she used her potential talent, Arrow Rain, to attack Black Fiend. What she had awakened was the skin talent. After every pore on her skin came into contact with water, she could absorb the water and turn it into arrows. Her entire body was like a hedgehog that could pierce any opponent to death. This kind of talent was extremely rare. Even if it was a small talent, it still had terrifying lethality. The rain of arrows broke the Black Fiend's whirlpool, and many more arrows landed on the Black Fiend's body. Heisha was also powerful. His body was surrounded by evil water chi, and he also had a natural scale armor. With a double defense, he blocked all the arrows. Even though he was injured, he still charged toward Shu Yujun violently. A pair of sickle-like combat weapons slashed toward Shu Yujun. Shu Yujun was not afraid of a frontal attack. She held a blue sword, and the shadow of a whale floated behind her. She fought with him head-on. On the other side, Bai Ran and Bai Yu of the Whitewater clan were heavily injured. Bai Weiming and Bai Jie were still able to withstand the pressure, but it was difficult for them to defeat their opponents. The situation became clear in an instant. Everyone's eyes were focused on the battle between the top heavenly realm experts. Only a few people were looking at Yongwu. After all, he was the weakest one in the holy arena. The Blackwater clan member named Black Dog charged toward Yongwu. He had a disdainful smile on his face. He waved his water dog fist and punched toward Yongwu. The power of his fist condensed into a dog, and his deep fangs bit down on Yongwu. Black Dog was a top heavenly realm expert. The power he used exceeded 4 miles. His water chi fell majestically with the power to destroy mountains. It was enough to kill any enemy below the heavenly realm. For little Hei's sake, I'll leave your corpse intact. Yongwu ignored Black Dog's attack and said faintly. He combined the abilities of Wind God's leg and water-suppressing stance and quickly moved back to his original position. The battle spear in his hand pierced toward Black Dog from an extremely tricky angle. In the water, the Dragon Reverse Spear Art and Dragon Turtle Sea Turning Technique were the best offensive moves. Yongwu activated his War Blood talent. He became one with his spear and unleashed a perfect attack. A water snake spat out its tongue and pounced toward Black Dog. Black Dog's power was domineering. He shattered Yongwu's water snake. He laughed disdainfully. That's all there is to it. In the next moment, he leaped like a dog and pounced toward Yongwu. His fists fell like raindrops. Everything within a 1-mile radius was enveloped by his fist energy. There was no way to dodge. He was a top heavenly realm expert from the Blackwater tribe. They were the overlords of the water. Even martial artists of the same level would find it difficult to defeat them here. Yongwu held his battle spear. His war blood boiled. The digested saint energy flowed throughout his body. He became one with his spear. The spear intent was strong. He stabbed upward like a dragon, breaking through the water. His battle intent was shocking. Rumble, rumble, kill. Yongwu's fighting spirit soared to the sky. He held his war spear and kept thrusting and attacking. Water snakes, flood dragons, black tigers, and other fighting shadows condensed by water chi kept appearing. Every move of his spear contained fighting spirit, and he fought fiercely with the black dog. The black dog was indeed at the top of the heaven realm. Each of his punches contained a vast amount of combat power. No matter how strong Yang Wu was, he was able to shatter these forces. The gap between the two was quite large. Your battle strength is not bad. If it was a top heavenly realm expert, he might not be your opponent. Unfortunately, you met me. Let me use my strongest move to send you off. Black Dog shouted loudly. He stared at Yang Wu with a condescending aura. He used both his fists and legs. Like a heavenly dog stepping down, 4 war shadows of fists destroyed the world. The water chi in all directions sealed Yang Wu's position. The suffocating power made Yang Wu unable to breathe. His war blood stagnated, and his celestial chi slowed down. This was the powerful suppression of a top heavenly realm expert on a lower heavenly realm expert. No one dared to offend him. A top heavenly realm expert is indeed powerful. Yang Wu thought to himself. There was no fear in his eyes. He still had a strong desire to fight. He held the war spear tightly. The water chi kept gathering on the war spear. He was on a charge up again. At this moment, his God's Court Dao flower was throbbing. The way of death spread out. This power did not form a death aura. He did not want to be mistaken for someone from Yama's palace again. So he had to gather all the power of the way of death on the spear. Rising Dragon, Yang Wu shouted. He stabbed the war spear at the 4 descending fists. The heavenly fish in his body breathed in and out. The 1,000 holes in his dantian erupted with Xian Qi. The mysterious bridge of heaven and earth flashed like a rainbow. He seemed to have turned into a huge true dragon that soared into the sky and destroyed everything. In this battle, not only did his spear will reach the extreme, the power of his war blood boiled to the extreme. With the amplification of the way of death, the power of the spear had far exceeded the power of a beginner heavenly fish realm expert. In an instant, he had jumped 3 minor realms and reached the power of a top heavenly realm expert. The true dragon devours the black dog. The black dog was shocked. He did not expect Yang Wu to be able to unleash such a powerful attack. However, he was still confident that he could withstand it. Shatter! The black dog was about to unleash a barrage of punches to destroy the true dragon when an unknown force invaded his body. His life force was being drained away, and there was also a consciousness that invaded his brain, robbing him of the power of his soul. He was terrified, not knowing what was going on. It was also at this moment that Yang Wu appeared beside him and swung the war spear at his neck. Bang! The black dog did not even have time to react before his neck was broken. His body turned into a ball of water and flew far away. A top heavenly realm expert from the Black Water Clan had fallen. Yang Jia had been watching Yang Wu's battle. Although he couldn't see clearly most of the time, the moment Yang Wu killed the black dog, he saw it clearly. He swallowed his saliva and murmured, "He's so freakishly strong." Li Xiao nodded and said, "Yes, he's not human." They had always known that Yang Wu was very powerful. However, in a life and death battle like this, they felt that Yang Wu would only have a chance to win if he activated his innate potential. However, Yang Wu had killed someone without even activating his innate potential. This battle strength was truly terrifying. Worthy of being a descendant of my Yang family, his battle blood talent is at least 50%. If he can enter the ancestral blood pool, he can definitely reach 70%. He will definitely be able to recreate the might of my Yang family's battle blood. Yang Hanchang said with a scorching gaze. They were all people of the same bloodline. When Yang Wu activated his battle blood, he could feel it. Some people from the Blackwater clan also noticed Yang Wu. They all had looks of disbelief. They could not accept the Black Dog's death. This human deserves to be killed. Lord Black Dog must have underestimated his opponent. If he had used his full strength from the beginning, the human would have died without a doubt. Lord Black Dog's death is too unjust. I hope the other lords can quickly finish off their opponents and cut him into pieces. Kill him. We must avenge Lord Black Dog. After Yang Wu finished off the Black Dog, he did not need to recover his qi. Being in the water, he could absorb water, Xian qi, all over his body to replenish himself. Moreover, the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula had leveled up. Its absorption speed was definitely incomparable to other Xian arts. Almost every time Yang Wu used up his Xian qi, it would replenish it immediately. Moreover, the energy stored in his dantian was more than 10 times that of others. Yang Wu glanced at the other battles. He found that other than the Blackwater clan member, named by Jie, who had the upper hand, the others were all at a disadvantage. Especially Shu Yujun, who was distracted to save by Hao, was attacked by 2 Blackwater clan members at the same time and was seriously injured. Her life was in danger. The Heaven's Pride of Mount Hung sect has been killed by me. The Black Evil Spirit. The Black Evil Spirit threw out a rope and tied up the seriously injured Shu Yujun. He held a pair of sickles and frantically chopped at Shu Yujun's head, showing no mercy at all. Miss Bai Hao was entangled by the black snake. He could only watch as Shu Yujun was about to be killed. He screamed hysterically. Shu Yujun was almost resigned to her fate when a strong wind swept past her. Bang! Chapter 563. Heisha's dual scythes slashed down. The majestic power was enough to split the mountains and split the earth. However, there wasn't the slightest bit of damage on the sacred battle arena. If this slash landed on Shu Yujun's head, she would definitely die. Fortunately, someone pulled her away at the critical moment. When she saw the person in front of her, a ripple of color flashed through her beautiful eyes. This was a youth full of heroic spirit. He looked to be around 18 or 19 years old, but his pair of resolute eyes looked as if he had crawled out from a pile of corpses. It was as if there was nothing worthy of his fear. You dare to snatch food from the tiger's mouth? I'll kill you too. After Heisha's move failed, his eyes revealed a murderous intent. He chased after Yang Wu and Shu Yujun. His double scythes slashed out continuously, and a crescent moon-like power swept through the air. Dozens of crescent moon-like slashes carried a dense, baleful aura. They surrounded Yang Wu and Shu Yujun, intending to kill them on the spot. Yang Wu held Shu Yujun in one hand, and the war spear in the other hand swept back and forth, hitting the crescent moon-like slashes. Bang! Bang! The crescent moon-like slashes were very powerful. Even if Yang Wu blocked these attacks, the web between his thumb and index finger was still numb. If it wasn't for his strong physical body, he would have definitely bled. Didn't you say that you could help us win? Take out your trump card. Don't give them any breathing room. Shu Yujun's voice rang in Yang Wu's ears. Don't worry, I'm here. We will win this battle. Yang Wu held Shu Yujun in his arms and said with great confidence. He no longer held back and urged the Ice Blade Wings to attack. The Ice Blade Wings was an innate skill of the kidney. It was a great innate skill. It had the ability to grow into wings, and it also had the ability to kill. It was definitely the #1 weapon to kill the enemy. The Ice Blade Wings swept out, bringing with it an extreme cold intent. It rapidly lowered the temperature of the area, making it difficult for people's blood and qi to flow freely. Heisha's murderous intent rose. How could he have thought that an invisible blade would be aimed at him? His target was Yang Wu and Shu Yujun. Only by beheading them could he vent the murderous intent in his heart. He did not care about the coldness caused by this place at all. Just as he continued to use all his strength to attack, the Ice Blade Wings swept past his neck at an extremely fast speed. He seemed to not feel any pain as he lost consciousness. A layer of ice crystal energy floated on his body, completely freezing him. He was still in the posture of attacking. The power attacking Yang Wu and Shu Yujun disappeared, and their crisis was resolved. My kidney power has increased, so has my ice energy. My killing power has increased. Yang Wu muttered to himself as he retracted his Ice Blade Wings with great satisfaction. You can let go of me now. Shu Yujun's voice sounded. Oh, why are you in such a hurry? I just saved you. Let's hug again. It's quite comfortable. Yang Wu casually responded, and also hugged Shu Yujun's body closer to him. His hand was holding where it should not be held. It was so soft that he did not want to let go. Let go! Shu Yujun's body was covered in cold air as she shouted loudly. Yang Wu came back to his senses and found that his hand that was holding Shu Yujun was holding an extremely plump place. His face was instantly embarrassed, but before he withdrew his hand, he pinched it again. Shu Yujun's whole body quivered, and her face turned from white to red. It was really beautiful. Shu Yujun was over 30 years old, but she was still a virgin. She had never been so molested by any man. Yang Wu was definitely the first. After being molested, her first reaction was not to beat Yang Wu to death, but to feel uncomfortable and itchy all over. She felt as if she had been electrocuted. She could not describe what kind of feeling it was. Yang Wu withdrew his hand and looked at Bai Hao, who was not far away. Bai Hao was seriously injured and was about to be killed. Yang Wu's ice blade wings slashed out again. It appeared behind Black Snake and slashed down from the sky. Puff! Before Black Snake could finish being proud of Bai Hao, his body was split in half. Blood splattered on Bai Hao's face. He was completely stunned. The people outside the holy arena were also stunned. On the holy arena, the battlefield changed rapidly, but the changes were too fast. It was a little hard for them to accept. Three emperors of the Black Water race were killed. Am I seeing things? I saw it too. I don't know how they died. Could there be a 15th person on the holy arena? Are you stupid? It must be the method of the number 1 Heavenly King. He is too powerful. Heavenly King Wu is invincible. Yang Jie could not help but shout. Heavenly King Wu is invincible. Yang Hanchang and Li Xiao shouted excitedly. This wave of Yang Wu's 3 consecutive slashes was truly too satisfying. The Black Water tribesmen's faces turned even darker. They all looked uncomfortable. The ones who were killed were all high-ranking Black Water tribesmen. In the holy arena, the most powerful person on the Black Water tribesmen's side was not He Yuan. He was only a prince and was still in the high-ranking heaven realm. In fact, the most powerful one was He Meng. He was the reinforcements later and had reached the peak of heaven realm. He was only 1 step away from the minor saint realm. He Meng was taller than the other members of the Blackwater clan. His entire body was surrounded by black water. This power belonged to his awakened talent, Blackwater. Wherever he went, everything would turn black, turning into a space that belonged solely to him. He could easily kill his opponents. When he saw He Yuan, He Sha, and He Shi were killed, he was furious. He shouted, He Yuan, He Ya, He Wu, don't hold back anymore. I will help you kill your opponents. After saying that, he unleashed his black water talent to its maximum limit. The entire holy arena was shrouded by the power of black water. Whether it was inside or outside, no one could see the situation on the battlefield clearly. Not good. This is the black water curtain. Take out the aqua pearl. Bai Weiming shouted. As the water tribesmen, they had all kinds of water pearls on them. The aqua pearl was a special pearl that could expel the darkness. It was full of light energy and was even better than the luminous pearl. However, when they took out the aqua pearl, they realized that the aqua pearl's light could not spread too far. This was because the black water energy was real. It was not the illusory energy of the night. He Meng was the ruler of this space. He could clearly sense everyone's position. He ordered He Yuan, He Ya, and He Ya to kill their opponents. Some of the white water tribesmen were ambushed and screamed. Yang was also affected by the black water energy. He was forced to open his soul eye. It was also at this moment that He Ya pounced on him. In the end, He Ya was completely miserable. A soul light broke through the layers of darkness and directly entered between He Ya's eyebrows. In an instant, his soul power was scattered and he died. The water tribesmen had the ability to control water. However, their soul power was not outstanding. It was slightly weaker than the human race. They were killed by Yang Wu's soul eye without any resistance. Yang Wu did not have time to pay attention to He Ya. He turned to look in other directions and found that Shu Yujun was using the heaven-breaking mirror to protect herself. She was fine for the time being. Bai Hao was seriously injured and was lying on the ground pretending to be dead. Yang Wu saw that the two were fine and was relieved. He looked at the white water tribesmen again and found that one of them was dead. Bai Weiming and Bai Xie were also seriously injured. Their lives were in danger at any time. Yang Wu quickly thought in his heart, should he kill He Ye first or save the two of them first? At this moment, he had an answer. He looked at He Ye with his soul eye and shot out a soul light in an instant. After he advanced to the heavenly fish realm, the divine court Tao flower bloomed another petal. His soul body became stronger and stronger, and he had the ability to multitask. This was originally an ability that could only be achieved by the dragon transformation realm, but he already had it in advance. This was something that could only be achieved when one's soul power was strong to a certain extent. Therefore, he could continuously use his soul power to kill strong enemies. He Ye's battle weapon was about to stab Bai Xie. He felt as if his brain had been stabbed by a knife. He screamed and fell. Bai Xie did not understand what was going on. He also fainted because of excessive blood loss. Bai Weiming, you and I are both princes, but you are destined to die in my hands. He Yuan grabbed Bai Weiming's chest and said coldly. His hand blade pierced towards Bai Weiming's neck. Bai Weiming screamed, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. He had used the water-suppressing seal in the beginning, which took away a lot of his power. He had just been ambushed by He Ye and had no room to resist. He could only wait for death. At this moment, He Ye suddenly fell. Bai Weiming was stunned. He Ye's body was on top of him. He did not kill him. Furthermore, he sensed that He Ye's life force had been cut off. What's going on? Who killed He Ye? Bai Weiming asked in his heart. Yang Wu let out a sigh of relief after dealing with the few Black Water race's top-notch Heaven Realm experts. His gaze locked on He Ye. This guy always thought that he was in the center and dominating everyone, reminding others to kill their opponents. He never thought that his companions would die in such a short time. He Ye was worthy of being a top-notch Heaven Realm expert. He realized the situation and looked toward Yang Wu. Yang Wu's soul light also happened to hit him. Just when Yang Wu thought that he would definitely kill He Ye, he suddenly realized that there was a heavy force of black water blocking the space between He Ye's eyebrows. It forcefully blocked Yang Wu's soul light. It's you, little bastard, who killed my brother. You deserve to die. He Ye was completely furious. He condensed his palm and slapped toward Yang Wu. Yang Wu did not have any leeway to react. He was hit by the black water force and was directly beaten to the ground. The power of this palm was very tyrannical. Even a high-level heavenly fish realm expert would be slapped to death. Yang Wu only spat out a mouthful of blood. Dying. He Ye's palms controlled the black water force and slapped toward Yang Wu. He must kill Yang Wu. Bang bang. Chapter 564. All members of the water tribe could control water, but He Meng was able to release the power of black water, which was his unique talent. No one else could compare to him. Moreover, he was at the peak of the heaven stage and was only one step away from the dragon transformation realm. He was able to let loose completely, and even Yang Wu was suppressed to the point of suffocation. He Meng was distracted to deal with Yang Wu, while Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun both had a chance to catch their breath. One of them used the unique healing technique of the water tribe to quickly recover, while the other refined pills to heal himself. Other than that, they each used their own methods to break through the black water domain. Water-suppressing seal. Bai Weiming slapped his chest angrily and used his blood essence to condense the water-suppressing seal. A water seal appeared with the power to command all the water. It immediately reduced the black water around him and became visible. Once the water-suppressing seal swept in all directions, it would be able to break through the black water domain. In another direction, Shu Yujun used a secret technique to infuse it into the heaven-breaking mirror. Waves of brilliance flickered continuously, and this light broke through the black water, dispersing the black water and returning the holy arena to its original state. Unfortunately, both of them were not in their peak condition, so it was difficult for them to break through the black water domain. Yang was almost unable to get up after being continuously hit by He Meng. His opponent was too strong, and with his potential talent, he had no advantage at all. He could not even use his soul eye to attack, so he could only use the ice blade wings again. Whoosh whoosh. The ice blade wings streaked across the black water and slashed towards Mang's neck. However, this time, the ice blade wings were also blocked by the power of the black water. In my black water domain, I know all your attacks. Human brat, you can't hurt me. Die, Mang said faintly. He had layers of black water defense, and no power could get close to his body. He could also control the black water to kill his enemies. This time, he waved a huge palm print again, and the thick black water smashed towards Yang Wu like a tidal wave. He wanted to kill Yang Wu with one move. Yang Wu couldn't just sit there and wait for his death. After his war blood talent absorbed the holy qi, the awakened power was even stronger. He activated his war blood talent to the peak. His blood was like boiling water, and his divine court path flower kept swaying. The mysterious bridge of heaven and earth resonated, and his soul body appeared. His combat ability soared. The power of his thousand holes Dantian erupted, and his combat ability was more than 15 times stronger than before. Yang Wu had already touched the proficient stage of the dragon turtle sea turning technique. After he entered the heavenly fish realm, he finally broke through to the Deshang stage. Whether it was the clear water here or the black water of the black radiance, they were all lifted up by him. The dragon turtle was the son of the true dragon and had pure dragon blood. It also had the ability to control water. The war blood in his body seemed to have the same power. Many abilities overlapped and forcibly broke free from the black light's shackles, blocking and counterattacking the black light's attack. Get out of my way, all of you! Yang Wu gritted his teeth and roared. His abnormal physique, which had been cleansed many times, exploded with a different side. After roaring with all his strength, the waves in the holy arena were turned over. Boom! Boom! The earth-shattering power kept exploding in the holy arena, but with the support of two divine weapons, there was still no way to interfere with the outside world. No one could see what was happening inside. They could only watch the terrifying power collide in shock. They all felt that it was an eye-opener. These powers are really terrifying. I'm afraid that even the dragon transformation realm can't do this. Lord Mang is invincible. His black water talent can kill any creature. Is his opponent by Jia or by Weiming? Or did the others team up to fight him? We'll know the results soon. Wave after wave of power collided. Everyone held their breaths and no longer spoke, waiting for the result. When all the power disappeared, the people in the holy arena were forced to the edge in different directions. Only Mang, Yang Wu, Bai Weiming, Bai Jia, Shu Yujun, and Bai Hao were left alive. Mang and Yang Wu were in opposite corners. Bai Weiming and Bai Jia were in one direction, while Shu Yujun and Bai Hao were in another direction. Their situation was not good. Bai Weiming, Bai Jia, Shu Yujun, and Bai Hao were all covered in injuries. They were in an extremely sorry state, and their faces were filled with incomparable shock as they looked at Mang and Yang Wu. Mang was the only one who did not seem injured on the battlefield. His black water talent was broken by Yang Wu, but his blood was a little chaotic. He forcefully swallowed back the blood he was about to spit out. Yang Wu was hit by Mang a few times. There was blood on his body, but in fact his injuries had been healed in a short period of time. Mang found it hard to believe that his black water talent was broken. He glared at Yang Wu and shouted, "You just entered the heaven realm. How can you have such powerful strength?" "I'm the #1 heavenly king." Yang Wu straightened his back and looked at Mang with a faint smile. Mang was stunned at first. Then he shouted, "You're the #1 heavenly king." "I'm the heavenly king." The next moment, he rushed toward Yang Wu. Even if he lost his black water talent, his combat power was definitely the strongest. Behind Mang, a water demon appeared. Its palms kept slapping out. Many palm prints cover the world. The power that covered the sky made Yang Wu unable to hide. Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and the others were suffocated. They realized how terrifying Mang was. Bai Weiming shouted, "Let's join forces to destroy him. Kill!" Shu Yujun did not hesitate to use her talent to kill Mang. On the battlefield, Only the death of one side could determine the winner. The Black Water Tribe only had Meng left. If they joined forces to kill Meng, they would win. On the other hand, if Meng killed them, the Black Water Tribe would win. Yang Wu shouted, "Don't attack. He's my whetstone." Yang Wu had absorbed the power of many water demon puppets. Most of it was devoured by the immortal Qi. However, he had broken through to the heavenly fish realm. When he needed to train and consolidate his strength, Meng was his best whetstone. He could stimulate all his potential and fight fiercely. Yang Wu's battle blood was boiling. His fighting spirit was soaring. He used the dragon turtle sea-turning technique again and again. From afar, it looked like a dragon turtle was constantly turning over the river and water, blocking all the power of Meng's palms. Meng soared into the sky. A war weapon appeared in his hand. It was his famous war weapon, the On Blade. He swooped down with anger. In an instant, he drew several sharp ons that pierced through the sky. They shone on one side of the world and struck at Yang Wu like lightning. On kill, Meng's power was pushed to the extreme. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun's power was forced to roll away. They could not get close to Meng at all. They were shaken away by his powerful aura. Meng did not have time to pay attention to them. His target was Yang Wu. In his eyes, Yang Wu was 10 times more threatening than the others. Would Yang Wu be able to block such an earth-shattering attack? Yang Wu's war spear reappeared in his hand. He raised it and began a fight with Meng. Yang Wu was not foolish enough to clash head-on with his opponent. The difference in cultivation was too great. Even if he used the power of the frost spring mysterious Qi and possessed extreme cold Qi, it was not enough to take down his opponent. He needed the support of the ice blade wings. Meng had noticed the ice blade wings long ago. He was already on his guard, but the more this was the case, the more he was distracted. He could not use his full strength to fight against Yang Wu. As a result, Yang Wu could use the reverse dragon spear technique to persist in the battle. The ice blade wings constantly attacked from different directions. Sometimes they would slash at Meng's head, and sometimes they would slash at his waist. Even if Meng had enough defensive power, he could not ignore the threat of the ice blade wings. Taking advantage of Meng's weakness, Yang Wu unleashed a series of powerful moves and fought fiercely with him. Bai Wuming, Shu Yujun, and the others were all spectators. Only then did they realize that Yang Wu's strength had already exceeded their expectations. If it were them, how could they still fight so calmly under Meng's powerful pressure? I actually underestimated him so much. Alas, Bai Wuming sighed regretfully. As expected of the number 1 heavenly monarch of the new generation, Shu Yujun sighed softly. Among our Mount Heng's younger generation, no one is his match, Bai Hao said. Outside the holy arena, Bai Luoyun was extremely excited. He waved his arms and said, "The martial heavenly monarch is invincible. The martial heavenly monarch is invincible." At this moment, he was completely conquered by Yang Wu. Before, he only trusted Yang Wu based on his feelings, but now, it was blind. He firmly believed that Yang Wu would definitely win. Meng was very impatient from Yang Wu's multitasking attacks. He only wanted to use thunder to kill Yang Wu. Only then would he have enough strength to kill the others. He stared at Yang Wu and said, "You are very strong, but it will end here." Layer upon layer scales. Meng's body suddenly changed. The scales on his body grew another layer. His defensive power became even stronger. This change shocked everyone. Regenerating scales, how did this guy do it? Bai Wuming clicked his tongue. Regenerating scales was not an innate talent, but the power of one's bloodline. Only with a strong enough bloodline could one regenerate a layer of scales on top of their original foundation. From there, they could achieve double-scale defense. In the water race, only the royalty had the chance to regenerate double-scale armor. Even Bai Wuming did not have the ability to do so. With Meng's power, his defense was comparable to the dragon transformation realm. Without a small saint weapon, it would be impossible to hurt him. Oh no, Benefactor is in big trouble. Bai Luoyun's face turned pale. There was a popular saying among the water race: the one with regenerating scales, is invincible. As expected, Yang Wu's ice blade wings slashed at the double layer of scales. It could not hurt He Meng at all. He Meng took the opportunity to close in on Yang Wu with his light blade. He was going to stab at Yang Wu's heart. He Meng's speed was very fast. Even if Yang Wu had fast reflexes, he could not dodge it. His body only moved to the side. The light blade stabbed into Yang Wu's body. Blood quickly seeped out. Time for you to die. He Meng's other hand grabbed Yang Wu's neck and roared. Stop. Chapter 565. Bai Wuming and Xu Yujun both launched their attacks. On one hand, they wanted to save Yang Wu, and on the other hand, they wanted to kill He Meng. Now that they had the chance to heal, they were already full of energy, and the power they could unleash was terrifying. Bai Wuming no longer used the water-suppressing seal. Instead, he raised his battle spear and sent out a huge water bird. The water bird spread its wings and tore apart the water within a few hundred meters. This was the battle strength that the third prince of the Water Clan should have. Xu Yujun gathered the water profound energy around her, and her blue longsword turned into a rain of swords. Together with her talent, the sacred arena was filled with swords. The swords were densely packed, covering the sky and earth as they all attacked He Meng. He Meng's reaction was shocking. He held Yang Wu as a meat shield and stood in front of him. He sneered, "Come, attack me to your heart's content." Bai Wuming and Xu Yujun's attacks paused, and they both withdrew most of their power. However, a small part of their attacks still landed on Yang Wu's body. How refreshing. Wait for me to send you all on your way. This will be the territory of our Blackwater clan. He Meng laughed proudly. At this time, the power of the Tao of Death spread out. He Meng's smile instantly became sluggish. His life force was being stripped away, and his soul force was also being attacked. If it was any other warrior, they might have been scared out of their wits. However, he was worthy of being an expert that was about to enter the dragon transformation realm. He quickly regained his senses, and the strength he used to pinch Yang Wu's neck increased. He wanted to kill Yang Wu, who knew that Yang Wu had already taken advantage of his sluggish state to counterattack. His palms were filled with power and fiercely imprinted on He Meng's chest. Bang! The power of these two palms was tyrannical. Yang Wu thought that he could slap He Meng away, but who knew that the other party didn't even take it seriously. He Meng coldly said, "My defense is invincible. Even if you hit it, you won't be able to break it. You can die in peace." He Meng didn't give Yang Wu another chance. He wanted to break Yang Wu's neck. Suddenly, as if he was bitten by a snake, he quickly flung Yang Wu away. The moment he shook off Yang Wu, Bai Wuming and Xu Yujun rushed to his side, and the two of them attacked the black light together. Waves of water, profound chi boiled and exploded, and the power reverberated in the sacred arena. Just when everyone thought that Black Radiance was finished, Black Radiance completely ignored their attacks and counterattacked strongly. The light blade pierced Bai Wuming's lower abdomen, and Xu Yujun was sent flying by his kick. In the blink of an eye, he had single-handedly injured two great experts. He Meng's battle prowess was simply too strong. No one else could close the gap between them unless they had a sacred weapon to break through his defenses. Seeing that Black Radiance was about to kill Bai Wuming, Bai Jie risked his life and rushed over. He used all of his strength to attack Black Radiance. Every attack turned into a surging wave that swept down wave after wave. However, this kind of power was completely immune to Black Radiance. Black Radiance casually threw Bai Wuming back in Bai Jie's direction. Bai Wuming was accidentally injured by Bai Jie, and his life was in danger. Black Radiance did not stop. He waved his light blade continuously, and several sharp blades attacked Bai Wuming, Bai Jie, Xu Yujun, Bai Hao, and Yang Wu. He wanted to kill all of them in one move. Continuous light flashed. Although the Black Radiance was attacking separately, each Radiance blade contained 100% of his strength. He didn't hold back at all. The chaotic Radiance blades filled the entire holy arena. If it was in the outside world, the ground would have been riddled with holes by these Radiance blades. Don't be so arrogant. Yang Wu rushed over once again. His soul eye attack was launched again. His soul power was like a sharp blade that forcefully attacked Black Radiance's forehead. The threat of a soul power attack was always the greatest. In addition, he once again activated his ice blade wings and slashed towards Black Radiance's head. He was going to take down Black Radiance at all costs. Yang Wu's innate strength forced Black Radiance to have no choice but to defend. No matter which power hit his head, he would die. His continuous attacks were weakened, and everyone could barely block them. Black Radiance stared at Yang Wu. He turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Yang Wu again. He had to kill Yang Wu first before he could be at ease to deal with the others. The power of the Radiant Blade gathered together and drew out a wave of destructive power. Everything would be flattened by this move. Yang Wu thrusted out his battle spear with the Rebel Dragon Roar, but it could only block half of the power of this move. There was still a portion that continued to rush over. He slapped out with the river-splitting palm, and the surging palm energy blocked another portion of the power. In the end, the power still landed on his body. Pooh! Half of Yang Wu's body was hit by the wave, but he still continued to rush towards Black Radiance. Black Radiance also rushed over, and the light blade stabbed towards Yang Wu's vitals again. Anyone could see that Yang Wu was going to fight Black Radiance to the death. Black Radiance narrowed his eyes and said, "No matter what other trump cards you have, it won't change the fact that you will be killed by me." Yang Wu did not say anything. A sword quietly appeared in his other hand, and a sword light slashed out. Nameless sword style. The sword was like a meteor, shocking the heavens and earth. Black Radiance's light blade slashed out, and the ink blue light even shattered the meteor. His power was simply too great. "It's over," Black Radiance said with confidence. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu actually welcomed his light blade and hugged his body. Pooh! Yang Wu's abdomen was pierced by Black Radiance. Everyone was stunned, thinking that Yang Wu was sending himself to death. It was also at this moment that everyone thought that if Yang Wu won, he would be able to obtain a third of the treasures. Martial Heavenly King, Yang Jie, Li Xiao, and the others all cried out. They did not think that Yang Wu would use this kind of method to deal with Black Radiance. This courage was not something they could compare to. "Benefactor, it was I who harmed you," Bai Luoyun said with self-blame. Yang Hanshang wanted to rush onto the sacred stage to stop all of this, but the sacred weapon was flowing and the sacred power was isolated, so no one could stop him. Just when everyone thought that Yang Wu was going to die, a blue flame appeared on Yang Wu's body, and this flame burned towards Black Radiance. Black Radiance was shocked. "Bastard, what kind of flame is this? How can it hurt me?" Since ancient times, water had always been the bane of fire. His entire body was filled with water, and he also had the innate ability of black water. The power of the black water was actually unable to extinguish the blue flame, and it continued to burn his body. His double-scale armor began to melt, causing him to scream in pain. He crazily attacked Yang Wu, wanting to shake him off, but Yang Wu tightly held onto him. This kind of shameless fighting style was very comical, but no one dared to laugh, as this was a method of mutual destruction. Bang bang. Yang Wu's back was continuously attacked by Black Radiance, and his back was almost broken. That light blade twisted in his body, cutting his intestines into blood. It was a tragic sight. Kill. Xu Yujun was worthy of being called a heroine. She was even more tenacious than Bai Wuming. Seeing Yang Wu and Black Radiance both injured, she dragged her heavily injured body and charged over. However, before she could charge over, Black Radiance and Yang Wu separated. Black Radiance turned into a man on fire, constantly screaming as his body rapidly shrank. Even if the black water on his body floated, it was unable to extinguish the flames and was burned to ashes. Yang Wu fell to the ground, becoming a bloody man, looking extremely miserable. Xu Yujun immediately rushed to Yang Wu's side, and a pill appeared in her hand. She turned Yang Wu's body around and stuffed it into Yang Wu's mouth. Seeing Yang Wu's body covered in wounds, she did not know why, but she felt a bit of heartache. She said, "You can't die, or else a third of your treasure will be gone." Yang Wu gritted his teeth and said, Don't worry, no one could take it away from me. Actually, when Shu Yujun fed him the pill, he had already refined the healing pill in the universe space, planning to recover as quickly as possible to prevent others from suddenly killing him. When out in the world, one must always be on guard. Even if he had saved the remaining few people, it was still the same. We won, this is great. The White Water tribesmen cried out in surprise. Good kill, good kill. The Black Water tribesmen deserve to die. The sacred arena battle is over. This palace belongs to our White Water tribe. Black Water tribesmen, scram immediately. We can finally hold our heads high for once. Why don't we take advantage of this and kill them all in one go? The White Water tribesmen were excited, and the Black Water tribesmen all had sorrowful and angry expressions. Their tribe's leader had died in battle, which meant that they had lost. One of the Black Water tribesmen coldly snorted, "Put away the sacred weapon. Let's go." Before the battle, they had already sworn that if they were willing to bet, they would be willing to accept their loss. They did not dare to be impudent here, otherwise they would be punished by the heavens. They called back their sacred weapons and left with the other tribesmen. They imprinted Yang Wu's appearance in their minds, and when they returned, Yang Wu would definitely become a person that their Black Water tribe must kill. Yang Wu, Shu Yujun, Bai Wuming, and the others all came out of the sacred arena, each of them heavily injured and unable to move, sitting cross-legged on the ground to heal their injuries. The others did not dare to disturb them, quietly guarding them, and no one left to look for good things. Rumble, rumble. Suddenly, a powerful wave of energy hit the main palace. It was a powerful sacred power, giving everyone a big fright. Bai Luoyun saw that it was the attack from the Black Water tribesmen's overturning sacred shell. He angrily roared, "Black Water tribe, do you want to be punished by the heavens?" It turned out that one of the Black Water tribesmen had stayed behind. He was attacking the palace with the sacred shell in his hand. "Haha, I didn't break my oath. This place belongs to you." The Black Water tribesman let out a long laugh, recalled the overturning seashell, and rushed to the palace. The main palace that was attacked was not damaged. It had a powerful defense. Even a sacred power would not be able to destroy it. Just as everyone heaved a sigh of relief, they heard someone exclaim, "Everyone, get away from here. Quick, let's go. There's a powerful guy in the palace. I'm afraid it's alarmed. If it rushes out, we'll all die." Another person panicked. Bai Luoyun held the sacred rhino horn in his hand and said loudly, "This prince has a sacred weapon in his hand. No matter what it is, I can kill it." At this moment, a terrifying giant shadow walked out of the palace, and a roar sounded. Roar. Chapter 566. The sound shook the demon palace, its aura like a river. This terrifying roar caused everyone's eardrums to hurt, and they felt dizzy. Those who were weak were seriously injured and almost lost their lives. Everyone was aghast. They looked towards the entrance of the palace and saw the gigantic beast silhouette. Their legs began to go soft. Fortunately, when the beast attacked the palace door, there was a powerful saint power blocking it, so it could not rush out. Everyone could not clearly see what kind of spirit-grade demonic beast it was. Looking at its shape, it should be a tortoise or a flood dragon. The demonic chi it released was blocked by the door, but it still made everyone feel a chill. They did not dare to stay nearby and retreated as far as they could. They had already arrived at the palace door and were ready to leave. The injured Yang Wu, Shu Yujun, Bai Weiming, and the others were also brought here. Roar! The huge beast in the palace was still roaring. It kept hitting the palace door, but it could not break out. After a long time, it finally retreated and calmed down. Everyone sighed in relief, feeling much safer. Bai Luoyun held the rhinoceros horn and said with a trembling voice, This huge beast is so scary. With our strength, I'm afraid we can't subdue it. Let's go back and ask the Sacred Elder for help." A member of the White Water tribe said, "If the Sacred Elder makes a move, this place will be destroyed." Another person said, "Then what should we do now?" Everyone was at a loss. They did not know how to make the decision. Their eyes fell on the three people who were healing. They were Yang Wu, Bai Weiming, and Shu Yujun. These three were the important people who made the decision here. Yang Wu was not dead. As long as he recovered, he could take 1/3 of the treasure. Bai Weiming represented the White Water Tribe and got 1/3. Shu Yujun represented the Heng Mountain Tribe and got 1/3. The others did not have the right to make the decision here. Bai Luoyun suggested that they wait until these people were healed before making a decision. He also sent people back to the tribe to ask for more help to prevent the Black Water Tribe from using underhanded methods. Someone from the Hung Mountain sect also went back to report to the sect and make preparations. Yang Wu, Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and the others were the most injured. Yang Wu was the most seriously injured. Even though he had taken a healing pill, everyone felt that his life was in danger. Bai Luoyun asked his tribe members with healing talent to heal Yang Wu. There were many people with healing talent in the White Water Tribe. They worked together to heal Yang Wu, but their power could not even land on Yang Wu's body before it was automatically repelled by Yang Wu's power. "What's going on?" A member of the White Water Tribe said. "Our water treatment is effective on any race. He shouldn't have rejected it. Look, the scars on his body are healing. He's recovering so quickly. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Could it be that he has a high-level healing technique?" Yang Wu was indeed healing. He had already refined 2 healing pills in his body and had the support of the rich water Xian Qi outside. As long as he ran the supreme 9 Mysteries mantra, he could quickly absorb the power of the outside world into the immortal Qi. The immortal Qi would then flow and heal his injuries. There were 3 main reasons why he was able to recover so quickly. First, his realm had increased, and his ability to absorb energy from the outside world had become faster. Second, his water-profound Qi had a significant effect on healing. Third, it was the effect of the 2 healing pills. With these 3 factors, he was able to quickly recover from his injuries. In less than an hour, Yang Wu opened his eyes again. The Xian Qi of heaven and earth outside his body was completely withdrawn. Not a trace of it leaked out. Everyone was shocked again. This meant that Yang Wu could easily control the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. He had consolidated his elementary heavenly fish realm. Normally, after a warrior broke through to the heavenly fish realm, they would need half a year or even a year to be able to freely control the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. Only then would their realm be consolidated. Even a peerless genius would need at least a month to do so. Yang Wu had broken through to the heavenly fish realm less than 2 days ago. It was definitely a shocking talent. No one knew that Yang Wu had already formed the heaven and earth mysterious bridge when he was in the Earth-Sea realm. However, at that time, he needed to activate the Eye of the Soul and the Eye of the Earth-Sea at the same time. Now that the heaven and earth mysterious bridge was completely formed and the heavenly fish scale was formed, it was not too surprising that he could freely control the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. "Benefactor, are you feeling better?" Bai Luoyun asked carefully. Yang Wu stood up. His face was still a little pale. He smiled faintly and said, "I'm fine now. Martial Heavenly King, you recover so quickly, but you should rest more." Yang Jie comforted him. Li Shao agreed and said, "Yes, the Black Water Tribe has retreated. There is no danger here. It's better for you to continue healing. Little Wuzi, I'll teach you the Yang family's secret healing technique." Yang Hanchong was even more direct. He called Yang Wu more affectionately. Yang Wu's face darkened. Only Little He dared to call him Little Wuzi. No one else dared to call him that. If it wasn't for the fact that Yang Hanchong might be from the same tribe, he would have slapped him. Yang Wu shook his head and said, "1/3 of this place already belongs to me. I don't have time to waste here. I'm going to start collecting the treasures." Bai Weiming stood up and said, "The main palace hasn't opened yet. There's no rush to divide the treasures." He had the innate gift of healing and had swallowed all kinds of healing items. His injuries had healed by 30%, but his battle strength had only recovered by 20%. Without 10 days to half a month, he would not be able to fight. Shu Yujun also stood up and said, "Since he wants to divide the treasures first, then let's divide them first. There are many treasures outside, so we'll find as many as we can. The main palace will deal with him later." That's right, There are many good things outside, and the main palace is guarded by a big guy. It won't be easy to get them. Let's collect the treasures outside first. Yang Wu excitedly nodded and said. He had seen that every inch of the transcendental world was a land of treasures, so he yearned to obtain more numinous treasures. Even if he could not use them, when he returned to the mortal world, his parents and brothers would be able to use them. In the eyes of outsiders, Yang Wu was a miser. He was in a hurry to divide the treasures before his injuries had healed. According to the agreement, I belong to Benefactor. I'll help Benefactor search for treasures. Bai Luoyun excitedly said. Was this still the prince of the Whitewater tribe? He had become someone else's follower. His status was one level lower, but he was still so excited. This was hard for them to accept. Bai Luoyun had his own plans. Naturally, it was not something that others could understand. Yes, I have an obligation to share the burden of Little Wu's treasures. Yang Hongchong said, as if it was a matter of fact. He flew around and began to collect the treasures. Martial Heavenly King, I'll serve you like a dog or horse. Yang Jie and Li Xiao said in unison. They also joined the ranks of collecting treasures. Most of the palaces here had been destroyed. There were king-level materials and heavenly medicines everywhere. Who knows? They might be able to find some sacred items if they look carefully. The Whitewater tribe and Mount Hung Sect's people also began to move. They did not want all the good things to be taken away by Yang Wu and the others. Yang Wu did not care about them. He flew in a certain direction. It was a spirit spring. By Weiming, Shu Yujun and the others also headed in that direction. There were good things there. A spirit spring was located in the southeast. This spirit spring was only a few square meters in size, but every drop of spirit spring was top-quality spring water. It had a great cleansing effect on children. Yang Wu had once obtained some in a mountain prison. Compared to here, it was like heaven and earth. There were a few carps in this top-quality spring. There were gold, red, and black carps. There were more than 10 of them. They swam around in the water without any worries. However, when they sensed that someone was coming, they were so scared that they hid under the 5 strange flowers. These 5 flowers actually looked different. There was a golden lotus with 7 petals. Each petal was glittering with golden light, like a golden sun shining in the world. There was a flower shaped like the sun with blood-red petals and a flower core like a lamp. There was a flower with only 2 black petals. The petals were shaped like snakes and were very strange. There was an extremely large flower core with extremely small petals that flowed with sparkling and translucent blue dew. There was also a flower that bloomed with 5 different colors. It was very sharp and condensed into a spirit turtle that walked slowly. It was extremely mysterious. 5 spirits, sacred flower. Bai Weiming cried out in surprise. This is not a 5 spirits sacred flower. It's just 5 different little sacred flowers. Shu Yujun also revealed a happy expression and said, the little sacred flower was a herb that corresponded to the dragon transformation realm. The dragon transformation realm was also known as the little saint realm. It was also considered a false saint realm and not a true saint realm. Only after breaking through the dragon transformation realm could one be considered a true saint. It is indeed not a 5 spirits sacred medicine. However, its value is extraordinary. It is not inferior to a normal true sacred medicine. Bai Weiming said excitedly, I'm an alchemist. Leave these 5 flowers to me. I will compensate you with other spirit treasures. Yang Wu said excitedly, no, I need at least one of these blue little sacred flowers. Bai Weiming said with certainty, the blue flower is gone, but I also need a little sacred flower. You decide how to give it to me. The remaining 3 are yours. Shu Yujun said. After pausing for a moment, she added, we don't need you to compensate us for the other 2. Just treat it as repayment for saving our lives. Bai Weiming was stunned for a moment before nodding and saying, Miss Shu is right. You can have 3, and we will split the rest of the spirit treasures. Yang Wu cupped his hands and said, thank you for letting me have them. Just as Yang Wu was about to pick the flowers, Bai Weiming stopped him and said, don't be in a hurry. Are you going to pick them just like that? What else? Don't you have a cosmos shell? I don't think so. Don't we all use cosmos rings? Well, it seems that I asked a very stupid question. I'll give you a chinquin shell. At least you can store this small pool of spiritual spring water and medicine. This way, you can raise them. The effect is much better than picking them. The cosmos shell has such a magical use. Of course, it can store some living plants. Its value is comparable to a little sacred medicine. Just now, you killed Hei Meng and Hei Yuan. There should be some on them. You can look for it. I won't give it to you. You should have said so earlier. I will look for it. Chapter 567. Shellfish were common at the bottom of rivers, but in the eyes of the water tribe and the water demons, many of them were rare treasures. Many shellfish had very short lives, and the cycle from birth to death was less than a year. There were also many shellfish that had very long lives. They only needed to quietly absorb Qian-Chi in one place to live for a long time, comparable to the water turtle clan. There were many kinds of shellfish, and they had different abilities. Some shellfish could store Qian-Kun, some could release light to kill living creatures, and some could give birth to life pearls, etc. The water tribe had lived by the water for generations, so they were most familiar with the spiritual treasures in the water. The Qian-Kun shell was a treasure they used to store spiritual objects, and all the powerful water tribe had one. In the holy arena, the 7 members of the Black Water Tribe were all killed by Yang Wu. Only Hei Meng's corpse was burned to ashes by the flames. The other corpses were left behind, and the things on their bodies were Yang Wu's spoils of war. Previously, the terrifying roar in the main palace had frightened everyone, and no one had touched the corpses. Yang Wu was skilled and bold. After returning, he searched through the corpses until he was sure that nothing important was left behind. Then, he burned them all to the ground. Yang Wu obtained 7 Qian-Kun shells, each of which was only the size of a thumb. They were worn around their necks or tied to their wrists to make it easier for them to carry things. Yang Wu held them and felt that the 7 Qian-Kun shells were actually alive, not dead objects. He clicked his tongue and said, "The transcendental world is really full of strange things. First, there was the murderous conch, the sea-turning seashell, and now there was the Qian-Kun shell." Yang Wu was suddenly filled with countless fantasies about this world. This would be a wonderful world. The Qian-Kun shells were indeed living creatures. They were not dead, so they could devour some living plants, provided that they could gain their approval. Otherwise, they would refine those things into their own nutrients. Yang Wu had learned from Bai Luoyin how to use the Qingquan shell, which was to use essence blood to nourish the shell. As long as the Qingquan shell approved of it, it would be obedient. Benefactor, the masters of these cosmos shells are all dead, so they're ownerless. If you feed them with your essence blood, you'll be able to make them obedient if they acknowledge you. If they don't, you'll have to smash them to pieces if you want to obtain what's inside, Bai Luoyin reminded. Is there no other way to make them listen to you? Yang Wu asked. You can also find a large amount of shellfish and feed them. They are also willing to be obedient, but it is not as good as feeding them with blood essence. That way, you can communicate with their minds, Bai Luoyin said. All right, I'll give it a try. Yang Wu responded and started to drip essence blood on the Qingquan shell. In Bai Luoyin's opinion, it would be considered good if Yang Wu could gain the approval of one of the 7 Qingquan shells. After all, the compatibility between the Qingquan shells and the human clan was not high. Usually, only a few out of 100 Qingquan shells would approve of the human clan. Unexpectedly, when Yang Wu's essence blood landed on one of the Qingquan shells, a luster flashed on the shell. The shell opened its mouth slightly, and the contents inside could be vaguely seen. Bai Luoyin exclaimed, "You are indeed worthy of being our benefactor. The first Qingquan shell is compatible with you." Yang Wu did not speak. He vaguely sensed that he had a connection with the Qingquan shell. When his spiritual force landed on the Qingquan shell, he seemed to hear an elegant voice. "Hello, Master." This voice was dreamy and very sweet. Anyone who heard it would feel happy both physically and mentally. "You are actually alive," Yang Wu responded with his spiritual force. "My name is Beiya. In the future, I will listen to Master's orders. However, I need Master's power to nourish me," Beiya said like a fairy. You still want my essence blood? Yang Wu asked. No, your essence blood only helps me form a bloodline connection with Master. I need your power to nourish me so that I can grow. Otherwise, I will die easily after leaving the water. I understand. I will take care of you. Thank you, Master. Your blood has a close relationship with my clan. I will listen to you. That's good. Let me see how big your space is first. Yes, Master. Beiya had 10 cubic meters of space, which was quite impressive. Many Chinquan shells were between 1 cubic meter and 5 cubic meters. Those that could reach 10 cubic meters were rare. There were many items of the Water Clan in Beiya's space, including the shell algae that Bai Luoyun had mentioned. Yang Wu was very satisfied. Benefactor, you form a contract with the Chinquan shell so quickly. You're really amazing. Bai Luoyun said enviously. He paused and said, why don't you try the other Chinquan shells and see if you can open them together? If you can't, you could trade with my clan. Okay, I will try. Yang Wu responded and dripped his essence blood on the second Chinquan shell. The second Chinquan shell opened very quickly and formed a connection with Yang Wu. However, its space was much smaller than Beiya's. Bai Luoyun said in surprise, Benefactor, you are really lucky. Yang Wu didn't say anything and continued to drip his essence blood on the third Chinquan shell. This one also opened. Benefactor, you must have the blood that the shell clan likes, Bai Luoyun praised. The fourth Chinquan shell opened. The fifth Chinquan shell opened. When all 7 Chinquan shells opened, Bai Luoyun was completely shocked, speechless. Even though the Water Clan was naturally close to the various clans in the Water Realm, they only had a 1/5 chance of obtaining the approval of the Chinquan shell. However, Yang Wu was even more terrifying than the Water Clan. He actually had a 100% chance of obtaining the approval of the Chinquan shell. This was definitely something that no Water Clan member could do. Yang Wu played with the 7 Chinquan shells and said with satisfaction, You are all very obedient. I will treat you well. Immediately after, he put away the other 6 Chinquan shells and rushed to the spiritual spring pool with Beiya. At this moment, Bai Weiming had already used his Chinquan shell to collect a blue little saint flower. There were still 4 left. Shu Yujun didn't pluck it. She was waiting for Yang Wu to make a decision before collecting the little saint flower that she needed. Now, there were only 4 little saint flowers left: gold, red, black, and glazed. After hesitating for a moment, Yang Wu chose the red, black, and glazed little saint flower, leaving the gold little saint flower to Shu Yujun. Shu Yujun didn't have any objections. This gold little saint flower was useless to her, but she could take it back to the sect to exchange for the small sacred objects that she needed. Those 3 flowers are all yours, Shu Yujun said with certainty. I want to take this spiritual spring with me. If you need it, you could take it first, Yang Wu said. My clan has the Earth Spirit Spring, so I don't want it, Bai Weiming said. Then he added, but I can't take less of those carps. Yes, I only want the carps. I don't want the spiritual spring, Shu Yujun said with certainty. Spiritual spring was an essential item in the various large sects and ancient clans. They didn't lack it, and they also had the ability to produce it. Only someone like Yang Wu, who had never seen the world, would think that the best quality Earth Spirit Spring was rare. As for the carps in the pond, there were a total of 11 of them, each with different colors. They didn't seem to have much ability, but in the eyes of Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun, their value was even greater than the little saint flowers. Yang Wu wasn't a fool. He knew the importance of the carps from the 2's expressions. Naturally, he wouldn't take less. However, with 11 carps, it wasn't enough for each person to take 4. If someone took 1 less, he would compensate them with other things. This time, Shu Yujun didn't back down. She decided that she wanted 4 carps. Bai Weiming also didn't want to back down. Their Water Clan could raise carps, so it was up to Yang Wu to back down. Yang Wu hesitated for a while before saying, Okay, I'll take 3 carps. The other party had just given him 2 little saint flowers as compensation, which was very valuable. These carps were very valuable, but he still didn't know how to raise them. Furthermore, he might not have the mood to raise them. He didn't feel that it was a loss to take 1 less carp for the time being. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun took out their chinquin shells and started to put their carps in. When the chinquin shells opened, a suction force enveloped the carps they had chosen. The carps struggled to escape, but they were still sucked into the chinquin shells. The remaining carps were the three smallest carps. One was golden, one was scarlet, and one was black. Yang Wu was not in a hurry to put them away. Instead, he dug a circle around the spiritual spring. He was ready to take the entire spiritual spring. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun didn't wait for Yang Wu to finish all this. They separated and continued to collect the spiritual treasures here. Yang Wu's movements were very fast. He dug a circle around the hard mud, and then asked Bai Yi to swallow the spiritual spring. Everything went very smoothly, and there were no accidents. Yang Wu said happily, "After we get out, I'll ask you how to raise fish." Then, he quickly joined the search for the other spiritual treasures. Everyone had an agreement that they couldn't take the spiritual treasures for themselves. They had to collect them together and then divide them into 3 portions. There were many dilapidated palaces here. There were many high-grade stone materials everywhere. There were also some stone carvings that contained ancient arrays and cultivation methods of the demon race. There were even some stone steels that contained battle techniques of the human race. Some of them were complete, while others were damaged. Some people stared at these stone steels in a daze. Some were copying ancient arrays, and some were moving the stone materials here. The value of these things that had been discovered was extraordinary, and there were many of them. It wasn't easy to collect them all in 1 or 2 days. The White Water Race in Mount Hung had sent people to guard outside the palaces to prevent the Black Water Race from causing trouble. Only then could they collect these things with peace of mind. At this time, Yang Wu came in front of a palace wall. He saw a technique called puppet control technique. It was imprinted on the wall. He was fascinated by these ancient words. The puppet control technique was divided into 3 parts: refining puppets, controlling puppets, and raising puppets. Each part had a corresponding function. The first part explained the essence of refining puppets. The second part explained how to control puppets, and the third part explained how to maintain puppets. It was a relatively complete mystic technique. This kind of mystic technique was relatively rare and only in the hands of a few sections. He didn't expect to find a complete set here. Yang Wu was wild with joy. Chapter 568. The puppet controlling technique was a secret technique in a small number of sects, and not everyone could use it. The puppet controlling technique in front of him could be learned by anyone, so Yang Wu naturally quickly memorized it. The others also memorized it, but when they finished memorizing the incantation, they suddenly realized that this puppet controlling technique was not something that ordinary people could use. The incantation's requirements were very harsh. Just the puppet controlling technique stage required one to reach the level of a saint-level weapon refiner. At the puppet controlling technique stage, one also needed to reach the level of a saint-level spiritual sense to be able to create a new spiritual sense to control the puppet. This was completely a saint-level puppet controlling technique. Fortunately, they all had saints behind them, and bringing them back would be a great achievement, so no one complained. Yang Wu did not care, as he was not in the mood to refine puppets. Besides, he had already collected dozens of puppets, and as long as he reactivated these puppets, he could make them fight for him. In other words, as long as he mastered the incantation for the puppet controlling technique stage and met the requirements, he could use it. After Yang Wu memorized the puppet controlling technique, he continued to look for other things. He found that many good things had not been touched, so he let Bai Luoyun, Yang Jie, and Li Shao collect them and gather them together. As he walked, he approached the main palace. This was where the greatest treasure was, but it also contained the greatest danger. At this time, Bai Wuming and Shu Yujun were also nearby, and they seemed to be researching a way to break it. The main palace was very majestic, and it could be seen that it was not a palace built by the human race. Its appearance was rough, and it had not been polished, nor were there any exquisite carvings. It was more like a palace that was formed by a peerless expert using powerful methods to forcefully fuse these heaven-level stones together. Yang Wu could not tell which kind of demon race expert this palace was built by. He walked towards Bai Wuming and Shu Yujun. You two have already entered the palace. What kind of terrifying thing is inside? Yang Wu asked. He vaguely felt that there was something in the palace calling out to him. He had to enter the main palace to take a look, but before he entered, he had to understand the situation in detail from the two people in front of him. Shu Yujun did not hide the truth. She said, "There's a dragon turtle war soul inside. It's at the saint level." Bai Wuming said, "Even if we have holy weapons in our hands, we still can't deal with it. It's too powerful. It was definitely a demon saint when it was alive. Perhaps this palace is its. So, it's the dragon turtle fighting soul. No wonder I wanted to enter it so badly. It must be summoning me." Yang Wu's doubts were all gone as he asked, "If that's the case, we have no way of entering the palace at all. This place has been set up with a powerful restriction that only allows Heaven Realm cultivators to enter. If a higher realm cultivator were to force their way in, they would be killed by the power here. If a saint were to enter, this place would automatically be destroyed. Even a saint could be killed. This dragon turtle war soul is an invincible existence here. Unless we can find a way to control it, we won't be able to enter the main palace." Bai Wuming said seriously. "No matter how strong a fighting soul is still a soul. If there is something that can subdue it, it may be possible to deal with it. The worst thing is that it will be destroyed before it can subdue it." Shu Yujun sighed softly. "Something that can subdue souls." Yang Wu murmured with a hint of excitement. If it was other sacred objects, he might not have them, but he did have something that could subdue souls. "Could it be that you have something that can subdue it?" Shu Yujun asked curiously. Bai Wuming also looked at Yang Wu with the intention of asking. He seemed to want to know if Yang Wu had a way to subdue the dragon turtle war soul. "I do, but I don't know if it will work. Let me think about it. I will tell you in detail later." Yang Wu nodded in response, then walked to an empty corner and sat down. The news that he had the soul-suppressing gourd was of great importance, and he did not want anyone to know about it for the time being. An ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring becomes a crime. He still understood this principle. Shu Yujun and Bai Wuming did not force Yang Wu. Yang Wu's martial strength was the strongest here, so they could not become enemies with him. If Yang Wu really had a way, then they could also gain something. Yang Wu's back was facing everyone as he took out the soul-suppressing gourd. His divine sense entered the soul-suppressing gourd and asked, "Lei Zongjuan, how is your cultivation going?" Lei Zongjuan was the ghost soul suppressed in the soul-suppressing gourd. He had been cultivating the ghost cultivation art that Yang Wu had imparted to him. Soon, Lei Zongjuan replied happily, "The ghost cultivation art is indeed a technique that can help me condense a physical body quickly. I have already cultivated to the 3rd level and have refined most of the soul power for my own use. As long as you are willing to let me out, I will definitely be able to survive unharmed." Yang Wu had used the soul-suppressing gourd to absorb a large amount of soul power in the Death Valley. To Lei Zongjuan, it was the best way to increase his strength. "Not bad. I have found a body for you. I will let you out later," Yang Wu replied. "Thank you, master." Lei Zongjuan could not hide his excitement. "Let me ask you, can a soul-suppressing gourd suppress a saint's soul?" "Of course. Otherwise, why would I be suppressed here? Then it will be easy." "Master, are you planning to give me a saint's soul?" "If that is the case, you have to completely obtain the soul-suppressing gourd's recognition. Otherwise, it will not help you to subdue a saint's soul. After all, the power of a saint's soul is too strong. I still have to obtain the soul-suppressing gourd's recognition. Seems like it is quite troublesome." The soul-suppressing gourd was a saint weapon, or even an existence of a higher level. It was not easy to obtain its recognition. Usually, Yang Wu could use a trace of its power. However, to deal with a saint-level battle soul, he had to control the soul-suppressing gourd well. After Yang Wu pondered for a while, he decided to try to completely control the soul-suppressing gourd. If he could do it, it would be another trump card for him. Yang Wu called Yang Jie, Li Xiao, and the others over. He had them protect him while he prepared to go into seclusion in a ruined hall. "Martial Heavenly King, we have almost finished collecting all the spirit treasures here. If you go into seclusion now, Aren't you afraid that the two families will swallow it up? Yang Jie asked. Yes, yes. Let's split the loot first. Li Xiao agreed. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, They won't dare to leave me out. Just like that, Yang Wu entered the ruin hall to find a way to get the soul-suppressing gourd to recognize him as its master. A saint weapon had a weapon soul. If he wanted to gain its recognition, he had to gain the weapon soul's recognition. Without enough power, he wouldn't even be able to activate the weapon soul. Yang Wu held the soul-suppressing gourd and muttered, Soul-suppressing gourd, soul-suppressing gourd. If you don't want to be buried, quickly recognize me as your master. The soul-suppressing gourd didn't move at all. Instead, Lei Zhongjuan's voice sounded, Use your essence blood to activate the weapon soul. Then use your soul power to resonate with the weapon soul. Only then can you gain its recognition. Unfortunately, your cultivation is too low right now. It's difficult to even awaken the weapon's soul, let alone gain its recognition. Yang Wu ignored Lei Zhongjuan's words and dripped his essence blood into the soul-suppressing gourd. His essence blood seemed to contain some kind of power. The soul-suppressing gourd flashed with light, but it quickly disappeared. Yang Wu opened his soul eye and activated the divine court Dao flower. He released powerful spiritual energy and shouted, Where is the weapon soul of the soul-suppressing gourd? Suddenly, a projection appeared from the soul-suppressing gourd. It was a soul projection. It was impossible to see what it looked like. It replied, This saint is here. All saint weapons had saint aura. The soul-suppressing gourd's saint aura only enveloped Yang Wu, but the remnant aura still made the souls of everyone in this space tremble. This is saint aura. Which saint has descended? No, this isn't a saint. It might be the weapon soul. Has a saint weapon been discovered here? It's in the direction of Martial Heavenly King. Has he discovered anything? Perhaps he's activated a saint weapon. What is he trying to do? Outside the palace, Yang Jie and Li Xiao almost knelt down. Fortunately, it wasn't a true saint's divine sense descending. Otherwise, they really wouldn't have been able to withstand it. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun both looked in Yang Wu's direction. Their eyes were filled with shock. They had the same thought. Does he really have a way to deal with the Dragon Turtle War Soul? In the palace, Yang Wu was enduring the pressure of the weapon soul. This pressure didn't target his body, but his soul. If his soul couldn't withstand it, he wouldn't be able to gain the weapon soul's approval. Yang Wu's face was covered in sweat. His expression was extremely ugly, but he still gritted his teeth and persisted. He looked at the weapon soul projection and transmitted his divine sense. Accept me as your master. A powerful divine sense burst forth from the divine court Dao flower. It wanted to imprint itself on the weapon soul, but the divine sense was forcefully erased by the weapon soul. The weapon soul responded, You're too weak. If you can grow a little more and summon me again, I'll definitely accept you as my master. But now you've lost that right. In the next moment, the soul-suppressing pot flashed with soul light. A beam of energy suppressed Yang Wu's soul. It was actually preparing to suck Yang Wu into the soul-suppressing pot. This was the backlash of the weapon soul. A person could control a weapon soul, and a weapon soul could control a person. This kind of example wasn't uncommon in the transcendent realm. Once Yang Wu couldn't withstand this power, he would lose control and become a weapon soul slave. His divine sense would be controlled by the soul-suppressing pot. Yang Wu sensed the danger and hurriedly used the Soul Control Sutra to forcefully stabilize his soul. His soul had become a powerful soul body and wasn't far from a war soul. Even if it wasn't as strong as the weapon soul, it wouldn't be a problem for him to protect it. However, it wasn't enough to gain the weapon soul's approval. He had to counterattack. Yang Wu's soul, I looked at the weapon soul and shouted, You're just a weapon soul. Don't even think about harming your master. Listen to my orders immediately, or I'll destroy you. The soul, I emitted a formless light that could destroy souls. This power was many times stronger than before. If he used all of his soul force to attack, even if he couldn't destroy the weapon soul, he could still severely injure it. The weapon soul seemed to feel the power of the soul, and withdrew its soul force. It revealed a trace of fear and said, Don't destroy me. I'll accept you as my master. Chapter 569. After all, weapon spirits were only weapon spirits. Even if they were saint-level weapon spirits, they only existed to protect saint-level weapons. If their original owner was dead and there was no new owner, as long as one could intimidate a weapon spirit, one would be able to gain its approval. Saint weapons could only unleash their power after they had a new owner. This was their value as a weapon. The soul-suppressing pot was different from other combat weapons. It mainly suppressed souls. Yang Wu's soul, I was extremely powerful, and he had the powerful soul from the Soul Control Heart Sutra. That was why he was able to suppress the soul-suppressing pot's soldier soul. That was the right decision, Yang Wu said with a sigh of relief. If he wasn't firm enough, he would have been controlled by the weapon soul and become its slave. If the weapon soul was willing to submit, then the soul-suppressing pot would truly belong to Yang Wu. Yang Wu put away the soul-suppressing pot and thought about what to do next. The soul-suppressing pot should be able to deal with the Dragon Turtle Battle Soul, but I need this Dragon Turtle Battle Soul. With it, I should be able to cultivate the Dragon Turtle Sea turning technique to perfection. I just don't know if my God's Court Dao flower can withstand the power of the Dragon Turtle Battle Soul. Yang Wu thought for a while and walked out of the ruined palace. Yang Jie and Li Shao looked at him in awe. They felt that not only was Yang Wu strong, but his background wasn't simple either. Otherwise, how could he carry a saint weapon with him? Even for the top prodigies of the various sects, it was already quite impressive for them to possess a small sacred weapon before they reached the dragon transformation realm. If they wanted to carry a real sacred weapon, they would have to complete extremely difficult missions before they were qualified to bring it out. For example, the Whitewater clan and the Blackwater clan were fighting over this palace. The Sacred Elder had given them a saint weapon to hold the line. Bai Weiming rushed in front of Yang Wu and said, "If you have the ability to subdue the Dragon Turtle Battle Soul, you can have half of everything in the main palace. The Hung Mountain sect, and I will split the other half." The secret of the palace could no longer be kept. The Blackwater clan retreated and would definitely gather more water demons to come. Some evil races might even appear. They had to clear out the treasures here as soon as possible. Shu Yujun nodded in agreement. "That's right." Yang Wu smiled with satisfaction. "Since you guys are so sincere, I'll accept it." Pausing for a moment, he said, "Before we go in, let's divide up the spoils outside." There was a pile of spiritual treasures in front of them. They were all items left behind by the ruined palace, and their value was extraordinary. Most of them had already been collected by everyone. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun had no objections, so they went with Yang Wu to share the treasures. Because there were many treasures, there were good ones and substandard ones. It all depended on their own judgment. This place was discovered by our Whitewater clan. My clan will choose first, Bai Weiming said without hesitation. "Sure, my Hongshan sect chooses second place." "Yang Wu, what do you think?" Shu Yujun said. Yang Wu didn't want to argue with him about this matter and obediently said, "No problem. We'll each choose the first 10 or so items and then divide the rest equally." "Straightforward. I'll choose that phantom vine." Bai Weiming had already locked onto a young plant. It was a vine grass that could cause people to hallucinate. He planned to plant in the clan. Once it grew up, it would be a powerful holy vine, able to create powerful illusions. It was a sacred object that could defend against enemies. Shu Yujun praised. "Good eyes." Then she pointed at a strange stone and said, "I'll take it." "Young miss, what stone is this?" Bai Hao couldn't see the origin of this stone and couldn't help but ask. Shu Yujun couldn't hide her pride as she said, "This is a bug stone." "Bug stone?" Everyone stared blankly, including Yang Wu. No one had ever heard of a stone called bug stone. Shu Yujun pointed at the multicolored stone patterns and said, "Do you see these small holes? These are all holes where bugs appear. It's not an exaggeration to call them bug stones. If my guess is correct, there should be a bug queen inside. It should be sealed by some power or sleeping here. As long as we wake it up and subdue it, it can give birth to a bunch of bugs." At this point, someone from the Hongshan sect said excitedly, "Could this be a saint bug queen? If that's the case, then the bugs it gives birth to can be called a bug plague. They're invincible under the saint realm." Shu Yujun nodded lightly. indicating that she agreed with that person's words. The people from the Hungshan sect were overjoyed. The bug race was very annoying. They were countless in number and reproduced very quickly. As long as the bug queen wasn't killed, it could erupt at any time. If it was subdued, it could become the sect's main army. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun had already chosen the items they needed. Now it was up to Yang Wu to choose. Yang Wu didn't stand on ceremony with them. He directly opened his soul, eye, and looked at the pile of items in front of him. Everyone looked at Yang Wu's soul, eye, and were filled with deep envy. They lived in the transcendent realm and had seen many things. However, warriors who could awaken an eye talent were definitely favored by the heavens. They would definitely be important figures that the major sects would focus on nurturing. After Yang Wu swept his gaze, he also stared at an unremarkable stone. He could vaguely feel the energy fluctuations inside. Even his soul, I couldn't see what was inside. He only felt a burst of blue light flickering like a dragon, dazzling his eyes. He didn't hesitate to choose that stone. "What is this stone?" Shu Yujun asked curiously. She had also carefully looked at this stone just now, but she really couldn't guess what was inside. That was why she chose the bug stone. She was afraid that she would suffer great losses if she made the wrong choice. Yang Wu smiled and said, "It should be a sealing stone. I don't know what's sealed inside, so I can't see it clearly." Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Yang Wu's soul, I couldn't see what was inside. It must have a great background. Bai Wuming said enviously, "Martial Heavenly King is lucky. Then I'll continue to choose the next one." In the next moment, he chose a broken weapon. This weapon should have been a holy weapon. Even if it was broken, it still contained sacred materials. After refining it, it could become a holy weapon. At the very least, it would be a small holy weapon. Shu Yujun chose a pearl. This pearl was taken from a broken palace by someone else. It also had a strong water, profound qi. It should be a holy pearl. Yang Wu saw that they chose these two items and let out a sigh of relief. He quickly grabbed towards a broken piece of wood. This broken piece of wood was a tree trunk. It had already lost all of its luster and was pressed down by many things. Anyone who saw it would ignore it. However, Yang Wu could see that this broken piece of wood was extraordinary. This was because it made the green bud and immortal qi in his dantian react. They longed for it. When Yang Wu held the broken piece of wood, immortal qi couldn't help but rush out from his palm and directly enter the broken piece of wood. The broken piece of wood fell off, and holy light shone in all directions. Everyone trembled. They couldn't help but lower their heads and bow their bodies. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. They all exclaimed in their hearts, "Holy object!" However, this holy light was absorbed by Yang Wu in an instant. Indeed, it could be said that it was attracted by the immortal qi. Then, it poured into Green Bud. Green Bud received the power of this holy light and seemed to have grown a little. It faintly became more sparkling and translucent, like an imperial jade. The broken piece of wood lost the holy light. The broken piece of wood had already completely fallen off, revealing its true appearance. It was shockingly a piece of wood that seemed to be green. There were patterns like dragons on the wood, and they also seemed to be flickering dragon scales. There seemed to be a blue water dragon carved inside, full of dragon qi. Bai Luoyun, who was beside Yang Wu, cried out involuntarily, This is holy dragon scale wood." In an instant, everyone looked at this piece of blue wood and felt incomparably scorching hot. They wanted nothing more than to immediately snatch it in their hands. In the east, there were dragons that lived in the water. There were trees that were irrigated by dragon qi in the water. There were towering dragon trees that rose from the ground. The tree was covered with dragon patterns, and the dragon scales were vivid and lifelike. This tree was called the Holy Dragon Scale Tree, and its branches were all holy dragon scale wood. If Bai Weiming obtained the holy vine and Shu Yujun obtained the holy pearl, then Yang Wu obtained the holy wood. Compared to the first two, this holy dragon scale wood's use was even more enviable. The best way for a heavenly fish to transform into a dragon was to use dragon qi to nurture the mysterious bridge of heaven and earth and form the dragon bridge. The heavenly fish could then transform into a dragon and reached the Dragon Transformation Realm. The Dragon Transformation Realm was also known as the Minor Saint Realm or the False Saint Realm. The Holy Dragon Scale would contain a large amount of dragon chi. Every strand of dragon chi could help the heavenly fish realm grow. It was still very useful even after reaching the Dragon Transformation Realm. It was an item that heavenly fish realm and Dragon Transformation Realm cultivators coveted. Martial Heavenly King, I'm willing to exchange the bug stone and holy pearl for this piece of holy dragon scale wood. Shu Yujun did not hesitate to take out the two holy items from before and proposed an exchange with Yang Wu. Bai Weiming also anxiously said, I'm willing to use this broken holy weapon and the little blue holy flower to exchange with you. The holy dragon scale wood was too precious and rare. Even if it was not refined, it could still be used as a holy weapon. There was no weapon in the little holy weapon that could destroy the holy dragon scale wood. It was incomparably hard, comparable to a holy weapon. Yang Wu smiled and said, Hee, I'm not exchanging. In the next moment, the holy dragon scale wood had already been put away by him. He also knew the value of the holy dragon scale wood. There was no way he would be treated as a fool. Benefactor, your eyesight is truly amazing, Bai Luoyun said with incomparable envy. Yang Hongchong, Yang Jie, Li Xiao, and the others were all endlessly envious. With the holy dragon scale wood, the Dragon Transformation Realm was just around the corner. Shu Yujun and Bai Weiming were both quite distressed. However, they both had great forces behind them to rely on, so they were not too stubborn. They began to choose the next items. This time, they were much more cautious. After repeatedly choosing for a long time, they finally decided on the items they wanted to choose. After all, after each of them chose 4 items, the other items would begin to be divided equally. When the time came, it would all depend on their luck. Yang Wu continued to choose 2 items. One was a complete sword weapon called the Cloudy Heaven Sword. It was only a top-grade, heaven-grade battle weapon, which was just right for him to wield a sword and kill enemies. The other was a piece of ink star stone, which was a small saint material. He was preparing to refine it into the double-edged 3-dragon spear and raise its grade. These 2 items were not much in the eyes of Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun. They both chose quasi-holy artifacts, which were much more valuable than the 2 items Yang Wu chose. However, Yang Wu did not think much of it. He had already gained a lot. All that was left was to choose the most suitable item for himself. Chapter 570. The items in the outer hall were divided into 3 parts, each as big as a small hill. There were broken walls, ancient carvings, trees, and flowers. Everything of value in the hall had been taken away by everyone. Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and Yang Wu each took a part. These items were worth all the wealth of an aristocratic family. Just the loot in the outer hall was worth all the people who died. Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun put away their items. Only Yang Wu did not move. He looked at Yang Hongchong, Yang Jie, Yang Pe, and Li Xiao and said, everyone has a share. You can each pick 2 items. The Yang family was from the same clan as him. Even if he had not recognized his ancestors, he had already acknowledged their existence. He gave them some benefits in preparation for meeting his grandfather in the near future. As for Li Xiao, even though he was from the Xiao Yao sect, the 5 heroes of the Proud Sword sect had already expressed their desire to follow him. He could not disappoint them. I knew you were a good kid. Then I won't be polite. Yang Hongchong replied straightforwardly. He began to choose what he needed from Yang Wu's items. Thank you, Martial Heavenly King. Yang Jie, Yang Pe, and Li Xiao bowed and thanked him before choosing their items. Bai Luoyin rubbed his hands beside Yang Wu and said, Benefactor, I am also one of your people. Do you think I can also pick 2 items? Who said you were one of my people? Yang Wu retorted. Bai Luoyin stared blankly for a moment before asking, Didn't we agree before the Upper Saint Arena? That was your wishful thinking. But let me see the rhinoceros horn. Yang Wu replied. Yes, benefactor. Bai Luoyin did not refuse. He reluctantly handed the rhinoceros horn to Yang Wu. The holy rhinoceros horn could command tens of millions of navy and destroy everything in its path. Its power was boundless. Bai Luoyin had just entered Heaven Realm, so he could not bring out the full power of the holy rhinoceros horn. This was a gift from the sacred elder of the clan when Bai Luoyun broke through to the heaven realm. Now that he had given it away with both hands, he naturally felt uncomfortable. Yang Wu gently stroked the holy rhino's horn. He could feel a warm energy flowing from his palm. The immortal qi in his body wanted to devour it again. Yang Wu lightly praised, as expected of a sacred weapon. The people of the Whitewater clan had mixed feelings when they saw this scene. The Saint Rhino horn was not a true saint item, but a top-tier minor saint item. It belonged to Bai Luoyun. In order to invite Yang Wu to fight in the saint arena, Bai Luoyun was willing to offer the Saint Rhino horn, which was a great sacrifice. Now that the holy arena was over, it was time for Bai Luoyun to pay the price. Bai Wuming could not say anything. He only wanted to return to the clan and think of a way to compensate him. Who knew that Yang Wu would casually throw the Saint Rhino horn back to Bai Luoyun and then put away all of his things? There were many things, but his yin and yang space was larger. He could store them all without the Chinquin shell, not to mention that he had many yin and yang rings. Benefactor, this Saint Rhino horn is already yours. Bai Luoyun handed it back to Yang Wu and said, "This thing is not bad, but you can keep it." Yang Wu waved his hand and said. His nonchalant attitude immediately made everyone exclaim, "How generous!" Not wanting a minor saint item just like that, except for the holy sons and holy daughters of the top forces, there were not many young people who could do this. Everyone guessed that Yang Wu must be from a powerful clan. Some people thought that it was normal for Yang Wu to not care about the Saint Rhino horn since he had obtained so many treasures. At this moment, Bai Luoyun covered his chest and knelt down on one knee to Yang Wu and said, "Benefactor, I, Bai Luoyun, am a man of my words. I am willing to serve you as my master for 10 years. If I go back on my words, I'm willing to be tortured to death." Fifth brother. Bai Luoyun could not help but scold Bai Wuming. Bai Luoyun's kneeling was equivalent to giving up his position as a prince and choosing to be loyal to Yang Wu. In the future, he would be qualified to compete for the position of clan leader. The other members of the Shui clan could not bear to see Bai Luoyun like this. They all tried to persuade Bai Luoyun to take back his words. In their clan, the princes were not as honorable as the holy sons of the top forces, but they were comparable to the holy sons of the top forces. Yang Wu did not think that Bai Luoyun would be so determined to follow him. Just now, he did not give Bai Luoyun anything to choose and did not want the Saint Rhino horn. This showed that he did not care about what Bai Luoyun said before, but the other party did not appreciate it. "You should think carefully. It is not too late to regret now," Yang Wu said lightly. "Benefactor, no, Lord, I, Bai Luoyun, will not regret it." Bai Luoyun said solemnly. "Good, you can stand up. From now on, you will be one of the elders of my Wuho gang." Yang Wu was not pretentious and immediately announced, "Thank you, master." Bai Luoyun replied. He asked in his heart, "What kind of gang is Wuho gang? It sounds very imposing." If he knew that Wuho gang was just a small gang in the mortal world, who knew what kind of face he would have? Now it is time to take care of the main palace. Yang Wu looked at the main palace and said faintly, "I will hold the Saint Conch and enter with you." Bai Wuming held a giant conch that was as tall as a person and said faintly, "This giant conch was the saint weapon that opened the saint arena. It was a true saint weapon and not a small saint weapon. It was called the Sky Swallowing Conch and had the ability to swallow the heavens." An ancient sword appeared in Shu Yujun's hand. There were waves of sword aura that flickered, and she said, "I will hold the saint's sword and enter with you." This was a top-notch small saint sword and not a true saint sword. Its killing power was extremely strong and was suitable for fighting in the water. "I will hold the Saint Rhino horn to help Lord." Bai Luoyun said, "You are too weak. Lend it to Bai Luoyun to enter with you." Bai Wuming said to Bai Luoyun. Bai Luoyun straightforwardly replied, "All right." Bai Jie had taken the Water Clan's small saint item, and his injuries and battle strength had recovered by about 70 to 80%. He was stronger than many of the people present. "I will also enter with you," Yang Hanchang said very casually. "All right, then let's go together." Yang Wu did not dare to be careless, and allowed him to enter the main palace with the others. The main palace stood in front of them like a castle. It was grand and majestic. There were stone statues of ancient demonic beasts on the left and right. Their battle auras had already dissipated and could not stop the group from entering. The restriction here only prevented the dragon turtle battle soul from coming out and did not stop outsiders from entering. In other words, Yang Wu, by Wu Ming, Shu Yujun, by Jie, and Yang Hanchang could enter at any time without being affected by the restriction. Before entering, Bai Wuming turned around and loudly said, "Whitewater Clan, please wait outside the space." Shu Yujun gently opened her jade lips and said, "Hung Mountain disciples, quickly leave this place." Yang Hanchang also turned around and said, "Yang Jie, Yang Pe, you guys should also leave. There's no point in staying here." Yes, everyone knew that there was not much point in them staying here. Once the battle in the main palace began, they might be affected. It was better to leave first to avoid being a burden to the people in front of them. Everyone left, and the space became much quieter. "We can go in," Bai Wuming said with a serious expression. Even if he had the giant conch saint weapon, he still did not have confidence. The battle souls inside were comparable to saints. "Don't worry, I will first increase my defense," Yang Wu said, and put on a few more heaven gray battle suits. Shu Yujun looked at Yang Wu dressed like this, and her breathing became hurried. It was not because Yang Wu was too handsome, but because this fellow had too many things. Yang Hanchang shamelessly said to Yang Wu, "Little Wu, I'm your uncle. Give me 2 sets of heaven-grade battle armor to wear." Yang Wu spread his hands and said, "Don't try to make connections. I don't have any more battle suits." Yang Wu had looted many geniuses in the broken space, and these heaven-grade battle suits were all taken off from them. "We are connected by blood. Can't you sense it? Come, give me one," Yang Hanchang continued to say. Yang Wu ignored Yang Hanchang. Bai Wuming said with a trace of envy, "Martial Heavenly King, this is quite rich. This is already my family's wealth. I am afraid of death." Yang Wu modestly replied. After pausing, he changed the topic and said, "You guys have already entered the main palace. How about you guys take the lead and I stay behind? Martial Heavenly King, your defense is the strongest. How about you go first and you take half of this place?" Bai Wuming said. Bai Jie said, "Martial Heavenly King should go first. You are the strongest." Shu Yujun also said, "I agree. What you all say makes sense." Yang Hongchang nodded and said. Yang Wu did not expect that everyone would let him go first. He sighed and said, "Fine, who told me to be the strongest man?" After saying that, he held the soul-suppressing gourd and slowly walked into the main palace. Yang Wu was human. He was also afraid of death. He had never been arrogant because he had an immortal body. Once his head was shattered, it would be difficult for him to not die. The others did not fall behind Yang Wu. They all took out their strongest weapons. Their expressions were solemn and nervous. Bai Wuming held the giant conch. Shu Yujun held the sacred sword. Bai Jie placed the sacred rhino horn in front of his chest. Yang Hanchang took out a turtle shell and placed it in front of his heart. They walked step by step. They did not make a sound, but they could hear each other's heartbeats. Yang Wu was the first to step into the palace. The others followed. The dragon turtle fighting soul did not make any movements. The inside of the palace was very simple. It was not as dazzling as one would expect. There was a glazed jade couch in the middle. It exuded a thick holy qi. There were 2 rows of jade chairs on the left and right. These were all heavenly jade. Sitting on them could calm one's mind, nurture one's qi, and increase one's lifespan. They were very valuable. Other than these chairs, there were some weapons placed behind. These weapons were very different from the commonly used weapons. Instead, they looked more like torture tools. For example, the Demon Slayer, the Soul Hook, and the Skull-Splitting Cover. These torture tools were still intact. Each of them had reached the level of a lesser saint weapon. There were even true saint weapons. Just these saint weapons alone were enough to make any force in the outside world green with envy. Yang Wu felt a chill on his neck. He muttered, "Why does it feel like I've come to an execution ground?" Roar. Chapter 571. The dragon turtle fighting soul appeared. It hovered in the air above the hall, looking down at everyone like a small mountain. It let out an earth-shattering roar. Even though everyone present was prepared, they were still caught off guard. Their helmets exploded, and their heads almost exploded. Their souls suffered a great impact. Bai Jie and Yang Hongchang bled from their 7 orifices and fainted. Bai Wuming clutched his head and fell to the ground in pain. He held the giant conch to protect himself from being injured directly. Shu Yujun was not in a good state either. She squatted on the ground and revealed an uncomfortable expression. Saint Power faintly appeared between her eyebrows, protecting her from the impact. Yang Wu had put on his armor, but it didn't help. The holy sound seeped into the god's court and shook his god's court Dao flower. If he hadn't held the soul-suppressing pot, he would have fallen to the ground like everyone else. Yang Wu did not think at all. He roared, "Soul-suppressing gourd, suppress for me." The soul-suppressing gourd shone brightly and instantly sucked away more than half of Yang Wu's celestial qi. The celestial qi in his dantian was almost empty. The soul-suppressing gourd expanded and released a powerful suction force toward the mountain-like dragon turtle fighting soul. This dragon turtle fighting soul was extremely powerful. It was not sucked in immediately. It waved its claws, and a majestic force enveloped the hall and smashed toward the soul-suppressing gourd. The power of the Saint Power was unpredictable. Yang Wu's body was unconsciously swept into a corner. His bones were shattered, and he spat out blood. The others were not in a good state, either. They were all squeezed into a corner by this force, and had no chance to fight at all. "Saint Conch, go!" Bai Wuming gritted his teeth and released his giant conch. This was a sky-swallowing conch. It instantly became as big as the soul-suppressing gourd. A powerful suction force began to suck in the dragon turtle fighting soul. Like the soul-suppressing gourd, it began to devour the dragon turtle fighting soul. Saint Sword's soul slayer. Shu Yujun spat out a mouthful of blood on the Saint Sword in her hand. The Saint Sword seemed to have a saint spirit. It was unsheathed, and the sword's momentum was shocking. It slashed toward the dragon turtle fighting soul. Bai Jie and Yang Hongchang both lost consciousness. Their trump cards were completely useless. Bang! The dragon turtle fighting soul's claw landed on the soul-suppressing kettle and sent it flying. However, the soul-suppressing kettle was indeed a sacred item that was good at suppressing souls. A portion of the dragon turtle fighting soul's power was absorbed into the kettle. On the other side, the sky-swallowing conch's saintly power surged and sucked the dragon turtle fighting soul into its mouth. Just as it was about to absorb this enormous fighting soul, the dragon turtle fighting soul's chi surged and shook the sky-swallowing conch away. At this moment, the power of the sacred sword slashed at the dragon turtle fighting soul. This sword, which was powerful enough to destroy the stars, only created a series of sparks when it landed on the dragon turtle fighting soul. It was completely unable to cut in half. The dragon turtle fighting soul had already condensed into a powerful spiritual body. It was not an illusory body and was definitely comparable to a real demon saint. Who could subdue it now? Oh my god, this big guy is so scary. Yang Wu felt that he had miscalculated everything. He had thought that he would be able to subdue the dragon turtle fighting soul by entering with the soul-suppressing pot. Now, he realized that he had been dreaming. Let's go and get the demonic core on the jade couch. Then, the dragon turtle fighting soul will definitely disappear. Bai Weiming's voice rang out. The next moment, he crawled toward the jade couch. Yes, he was crawling over. Under the saintly power, he did not even have the strength to stand up. Get the demonic core. That's the foundation of the dragon turtle fighting soul. Shu Yujun shouted with difficulty. She followed Bai Weiming and crawled toward the jade couch. The saintly power was boundless. It was as if a huge mountain was pressing down on them, making it difficult for them to move. Even if they activated all their strength, they could not move forward. Their celestial qi was completely suppressed. It was impossible for them to escape the saintly power suppression with just their physical strength. Damn it! Bai Weiming roared unwillingly. He activated his water-suppressing seal. hoping that he could move forward with his innate strength. However, it was still useless. Shu Yujun held her breath. A saintly light floated between her eyebrows, and an imperial edict appeared. She spat out a mouthful of blood onto the imperial edict. The imperial edict turned into a ray of saintly light and floated around her body. It wanted to bring her to the jade couch. The imperial edict was indeed an imperial edict that contained the saintly power. It could resist the might of the saintly power here. Shu Yujun flew with the help of the imperial edict. Her face was filled with joy. Just as she was about to reach the jade couch, a chain of power fell down and hit her. Uft! Shu Yujun crashed to the ground. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. If not for the power of the imperial edict, this power would have been enough to turn her into ashes. It's over. Bai Weiming saw that Shu Yujun had failed and immediately lost all his confidence. Above the palace, the dragon turtle fighting soul was still strong. It was fighting fiercely with the soul-suppressing pot, sky-devouring conch, and little saint sword. It was releasing saintly light all over its body. Its claws slammed continuously, and the saintly weapons kept smashing in all directions. If it was an ordinary palace, it would have been destroyed by these forces. However, there was a strong restrictive power here. Even saintly weapons could not break the walls here. The three saintly weapons were not useless. They had all been baptized by the saintly power and were incomparably hard. Even if no one was controlling them, they could still unleash shocking power. The soul-suppressing pot was activated. Soul-suppressing incantations appeared one after another and kept branding the dragon turtle fighting soul. It was indeed the most effective weapon against souls among the three saintly weapons. Each soul-suppressing incantation made the dragon turtle fighting soul extremely uncomfortable. Its power was reduced. If this continued, it would definitely be suppressed. The sky-devouring conch had the power to swallow the sky. However, it could not swallow the dragon turtle fighting soul. It could only swallow the saintly power that erupted from the dragon turtle fighting soul to prevent it from affecting the people below. If not for the sky-devouring conch, everyone here would have died. As for Shu Yujun's little saint sword, it was not a true saint sword. However, it still played a role in restraining the dragon turtle fighting soul. Sword after sword slashed at the dragon turtle fighting soul, tiring it out. However, this little saint sword was hit by the dragon turtle fighting soul once. The sword started to crack. After the second hit, the sword was like a spider web, densely packed with cracks. The saintly sword wailed. It could no longer fight. Just as it was about to retreat, the dragon turtle fighting soul spat out a saintly light. It was like the power of a torrential river, smashing the saintly sword on the spot. The soul-suppressing pot's incantation showed its power and continued to suppress the dragon turtle fighting soul. The dragon turtle fighting soul's most powerful attack was directed at the soul-suppressing pot. The soul-suppressing pot was sent flying again and again. However, it did not suffer any damage. Instead, it was Lei Zhongjuan who was inside the soul-suppressing pot that was scared to the point of peeing. Damn it, this saint is not free yet, and they're using the soul-suppressing pot to fight. This saint is trying to shake this saint to death. Lei Zhongjuan cried and cursed. He shouted at Yang Wu, "Master, let me out. Let me out." Its voice could not be heard. It could only endure the torment of the raging waves. Yang Wu was crawling on the ground. He was different from Bai Weiming and Shu Yujun. He was really using his own strength to move forward without any help from the saint energy. It was as if he was carrying a mountain, but the mountain could not suppress him. He only had eyes for the demon nucleus in front of the jade couch. As long as he could take it, it would be equivalent to taking down the dragon turtle fighting soul. He was gritting his teeth as blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. His body was like a tortoise as he slowly moved forward. His willpower was incomparably strong, and his physical strength was incomparably strong. He had been refined by Little Hay's medicinal liquid until now. He had also been tempered by the heavenly thunder, heart fire, mysterious essence chi, and other powers. He had achieved a flawless body. Even the heavenly demon body might not be able to compete with him. Therefore, Even if he could not use his strength, he could still withstand the Saint Energy's pressure and move forward. There was a distance of 300 feet between him and the jade couch. Now that he had crawled to within 250 feet, the heavenly armor on his body rubbed against the ground, making a GG sound. He prayed in his heart that the Saint Energy would not fall on his position. Otherwise, he would only have a dead end. Who knew that it would be better if he did not pray? When he finished praying, the little divine sword shattered. A piece of the broken sword splashed onto his body. The first 4 layers of the heavenly armor were instantly shattered. The last 3 layers of the heavenly armor only cracked. However, the sword chi broke through the 7th layer of the heavenly armor and entered his body. He immediately let out a heart-wrenching cry. Ah! The sword chi contained the Saint Energy and almost destroyed his life force. Fortunately, the immortal chi came into play again and swallowed the Saint Energy, erasing the danger of death. The broken sword was stuck in his flesh. As long as he crawled, he would be in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Yang Wu almost fainted from the pain. He took a deep breath and circulated the supreme 9 mysteries formula to quickly recover from his injuries. When the pain subsided, he did not hesitate to put the broken sword into his Qian Kuan space to prevent the broken sword from injuring him again. Fortunately, it was Yang Wu who was affected. If it was someone else, even if it was a dragon transformation realm minor saint, they would not have survived. Yang Wu took a deep breath and poured all his energy into the barbarian shrine and the wind god's leg. He unleashed the potential of the 2 innate talents and crawled with all his strength again. This dragon turtle combat soul belongs to me. Yang Wu roared in his heart. He cultivated the dragon turtle sea flipping art. He was destined to have an affinity with the dragon turtle. This dragon turtle combat soul was full of Saint Energy. If he could obtain the core of the dragon turtle, it would definitely help him reach the major completion of the dragon turtle sea flipping art. Therefore, he had to move forward. Moreover, with the current situation, they could no longer move forward. If they did not move forward, they would die. The barbarian god's arm was powerful. It grabbed the hard ground to support his body as he moved forward. The wind god's leg was not weak either. The tip of his feet stepped on the ground, helping him to move forward. As the energy of the dragon turtle combat soul was being devoured by the soul, suppressing Gord again and again, the energy of the dragon turtle combat soul had weakened significantly. The sky-devouring conch also blocked the Saint Energy of the dragon turtle combat soul. Yang Wu was able to increase his speed. Even though he was not walking as fast as usual, he was getting closer and closer to the dragon turtle demon core. 20 feet, 15 feet, 10 feet. Yang Wu moved forward like a spider. His arms and legs were like spider claws. He moved forward with all his might. His veins were bulging and his knuckles were bleeding. He was unyielding and relentless. Seeing that the dragon turtle combat soul was only 30 feet away, Yang Wu was delighted. Just when he wanted to use all his energy to reach the jade bed in one go, the dragon turtle combat soul's gaze fell on him. His body felt as if it was struck by lightning. It was as if there were mountains on his body. He could not move forward anymore. Blood spurted out from his mouth. The dragon turtle combat soul quickly swooped down. Roar. Chapter 572. The dragon turtle fighting soul's strength had been reduced by half, but its power was still invincible. The way it swooped down was enough to crush any living being. Even Yang Wu was no exception. No matter how outstanding Yang Wu was, he had only just entered the heavenly fish realm. He felt as if there were several mountains pressing down on him. His back was broken, and he spat out blood. He almost fainted. The soldier's spirit of the soul, suppressing pot, appeared above him. Because Yang Wu did not have the strength of a saint, he could not activate it at the beginning. Now it appeared to protect its master with all its strength. The majestic, soul-sucking power instantly sucked away most of the dragon turtle fighting soul's soul power. Unfortunately, it still could not stop the dragon turtle fighting soul's power from falling on Yang Wu. The sky-devouring conch displayed its power and charged toward the dragon turtle fighting soul. Unfortunately, It was far weaker than the soul-suppressing pot and was sent flying by the dragon turtle fighting soul's power. Fortunately, it also consumed a small part of the dragon turtle fighting soul's power. At present, the dragon turtle fighting soul only had 1/3 of its original soul power left. This 1/3 was still enough to kill a small saint. Ever since Yang Wu entered Death Valley, he once again faced the threat of death. He felt a sense of despair. It's over. At this moment, a shadow suddenly appeared from Yang Wu's body. Even Yang Wu himself did not know where the shadow came from. "Evil creature, how dare you hurt my disciple?" The voice was like a thunderclap that shook the entire palace. Not only did the dragon turtle fighting soul shrink back in fear, but even the soul-suppressing gourd and the sky-swallowing conch retracted their holy light and fell from the sky. No one could see clearly what the shadow looked like, but it was like a giant filling up the world. It was like a demon god, invincible. Bai Weiming was shocked. Shu Yujun was stunned. They were all from extraordinary backgrounds, but in the face of such a majestic shadow, they still felt that their brains could not process it. This was just the power of a true saint. They felt that it had surpassed that level of existence. Whether it was so, they could not figure it out. Their realms were too low. The dragon turtle fighting soul was so scared that it wet its pants. Woo-woo. It let out a sorrowful cry, not daring to attack Yang Wu again. It didn't even dare to return to the dragon turtle's demon core. The shadow landed and waved his hand lightly. "Go back." The dragon turtle fighting soul entered the dragon turtle demon nucleus in a sorry state, and all the pressure disappeared. "Li Hall." The next moment, the mysterious man added. Following that, all the other people in the palace flew out of the palace except for Yang Wu. The holy word was like a law. The sage's words contained the heavenly laws and could not be defied. In the palace, only the shadow and Yang Wu were left. The others were no longer in the palace, and the dragon turtle fighting soul was no longer aggressive. Everything had become quiet. The illusory figure shrunk, but it was still shrouded in a hazy aura. He said faintly to Yang Wu, "Disciple, hurry up and greet your master." Yang Wu was dumbfounded. He realized that the illusory figure had emerged from his body, but he had no idea how it had managed to stay on his body. He felt a chill in his heart. "Are you a ghost?" Yang Wu asked subconsciously. "Bastard, you have no respect for your elders. You should be punished." The illusory figure shouted, and a power was added to Yang Wu's body. It was as if he had been suppressed by the dragon turtle fighting soul, but it was even more serious. Fresh blood was spat out from his mouth. Yang Wu wanted to die. How could there be such a master who punished him just because of a disagreement? It was simply asking for his life. Crawl over again and get the demon core. The punishment will disappear, or you will die. The illusory figure said heartlessly, "I won't take it even if I die." Yang Wu replied stubbornly. The last time, he had been forced to take him as a disciple. This time, he couldn't take it anymore. He was a dignified and hot-blooded youth. No one could easily order him to do things. "Hee, then I'll let you die," the illusory figure said coldly, and a torture tool flew over. It was the soul-hooking chain. The soul-hooking chain could hook all the souls in the world. It was one of the most feared torture tools. Once one's soul was hooked, only death would await them. The soul-hooking chain whipped down towards Yang Wu. "Pa! Ah!" The soul-hooking chain whipped Yang Wu's body. It wasn't just his body that was in pain. Even his soul felt as if it had been whipped. The pain was many times worse than the pain inflicted on his body. If it continued to whip his soul, not only would it be damaged, it might even collapse. This was the terror of the soul-hooking chain. While he was most afraid of what happened, the soul-hooking chain whipped down towards Yang Wu. "Papa!" Yang Wu screamed like a pig being slaughtered. It was even more painful than being struck by lightning. "Are you going to crawl or not?" the illusory figure asked. "I won't crawl even if I die. If you have the ability, then kill me." Yang Wu gnashed his teeth. He was a person with backbone. "Is that so? Then I'll let you have a taste of the power of the executioner's blade." The phantom said coldly. The huge executioner's blade flew over. Its handle was like a dog's, and the blade was like an axe. Countless ghosts could be vaguely heard from it. It was unknown how many creatures had died by its executioner's blade. Yang Wu's bones immediately went soft. I'll crawl. Master, your disciple was wrong. I'll crawl right now. A real man knew when to yield and when to stand tall. If he didn't crawl, then his cheat master would really kill him. Too late. The phantom said as the executioner's blade fell. Pung! Yang Wu's mind went blank. It was as if his head had been chopped off and his body destroyed. He didn't even know what death felt like. Fortunately, the executioner's blade didn't actually land on Yang Wu's head. Instead, it landed in front of him. The ground split open and a few strands of hair were chopped off. The executioner's blade was as real as an executioner's blade. If you're scared out of your wits, then how are you going to take over this beast-taming hall? The phantom's voice sounded. After he finished speaking, a faint golden light flashed behind his back. 3 ancient characters appeared. It was Beast-Taming Hall. Yang Wu regained his consciousness. He saw those 3 ancient golden characters. He felt that those 3 ancient characters were filled with a thick, evil aura. Countless demonic beasts were howling. They seemed to have gone through countless tortures and finally died under torture. Their fates were very miserable. Yang Wu took a deep breath. He didn't respond to his cheat master anymore. He slowly crawled forward. He cursed in his heart. One day, I'll beat you into a pig's head. The barbarian god's arm expanded, and the wind god's leg started to generate wind. His arms and legs exerted force at the same time, and he slowly moved forward. The hundreds of thousands of ding on his back was too heavy. His speed was even slower than a snail's. No matter how slow he was, he still had to move. The blood in his body was forced to its limit, and it was boiling faster and faster. The strength of his body was increasing bit by bit. He was still far from reaching his limit. After he moved 5 feet, his cheat master's voice sounded again. Not fast enough. If you can't crawl here in an hour, you're not worthy to be my disciple. I'll kill you. Yang Wu was sure that his master's words weren't just a threat. If he couldn't do it, he would really be killed. At this moment, his master was sitting on a jade couch, playing with the dragon turtle's demonic core. He had a high and mighty look on his face. It was as if he really didn't care about Yang Wu's life or death. Yang Wu didn't have time to think about how his master treated him. He hysterically shouted, I'll crawl, I'll crawl. When he could crawl again, the pressure on his back increased again. He almost lost all hope. It was already very difficult for him to crawl. When the pressure increased again, he couldn't crawl at all. The bones in his back were breaking apart, and his body was almost as useless as paper. Yang Wu's eyes became blurred, and his mind became more and more unclear. His divine court Dao flower was swaying, his blood was still boiling, and his immortal qi was still surging. Once his will collapsed, all of this would be over. Vaguely, he saw the misty eyes of his parents far away in the mortal world. He saw his brother who walked thousands of miles with a book on his back. He saw Ziyu who had been waiting for him at the top of the Purple Cloud Hall for a long time. He felt that everything was leaving him. No, I can't die. I have to live on strong. No one can stop me. I'm still waiting to protect my family. Yang Wu broke out with an unprecedented will to live. It was the same feeling he had when he was tortured to death in a mountain prison. He didn't want to die. Even the heavens couldn't take him away. Yang Wu activated the supreme 9 mysteries formula to the extreme. The celestial fish breathing technique was activated, and Xian Qi exploded in the thousands of holes in his dantian. The immortal Qi accompanied it. After crossing the heaven and earth mysterious bridge, all of his meridians and acupoints were agitated. The power hidden in his skin and flesh was squeezed to the limit. Blue veins protruded on the arms of the barbarian god. It was obvious that Xian Qi was flowing in them. His arms grew bigger, and his strength increased by more than 10 times. The strength of his legs was the same. When the immortal Qi streaked across his back, his spine was reconnected. The power of the heavenly thunderbone was also squeezed. Every part of his body was full of power. The power on his back seemed to be weakening. He crawled again. The first time, he moved a finger's distance. The second time, he moved a little more than half a foot's distance. The third time, he moved a little more than half of his body. His fingernails were scratched until they cracked. Dozens of shocking bloody marks were scratched on the ground. His body crawled faster and faster. He had completely forgotten about the pain of his 10 fingers being linked to his heart. His only target was the demon core that his master was playing with. His master didn't seem to feel the slightest bit of heartache. He still looked at him calmly as he crawled. Seeing that Yang Wu was only 3 meters away from his master, the pressure on his back increased again. His body couldn't move again. This time he was still not crushed. He only rested for a while before he started to move again. This 3 meters was comparable to thousands of miles. There were thousands of ferocious beasts blocking the way. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to reach the other side. Yang Wu's eyes were filled with stubbornness. He was like a sharpened blade that was indomitable. His body moved little by little. Originally, he only needed 1 step to cross the distance, but it took him almost an hour to crawl to the jade bed. He raised his head and looked at his master, saying with difficulty, "Give me the demon core." "Not bad. Here you go." The illusory figure praised. The dragon turtle demon core finally fell into Yang Wu's hands. When Yang Wu obtained the dragon turtle demon core, the pressure on his body disappeared. His body relaxed, and his vision turned black. He fainted on the spot. Chapter 573. Outside the palace. 7 days and 7 nights had already passed. Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and the others had already recovered from their injuries. They had many high-level healing items, so, as long as it was not a fatal injury, they would be able to recover in a short period of time. They did not leave this place, waiting for Yang Wu to give them a pleasant surprise. Unfortunately, 7 days had passed, and Yang Wu was not able to come out. They could not enter the palace either, so they all felt that Yang Wu had already died in the palace. Their memories of the scene before they were forced out of the palace had already been completely erased. If they could remember, they would definitely not think this way. Only Yang Hanchang felt that Yang Wu was not dead. He still decided to guard until Yang Wu came out. "We must leave. The Blackwater clan has attracted a water demon saint, causing a great disaster outside," Bai Weiming said faintly as he held the 1,000-mile conch in his hand. The 1,000-mile conch was a strange sound-transmitting conch. It was very rare, and when he held it, he could hear the sound of other 1,000-mile conches from 1,000 miles away. In the Water Clan, there were only 10 pairs of 1,000-mile conches. Bai Weiming's 1,000-mile conch was borrowed, so he did not have the qualifications to own it. At this time, there were clansmen outside who sent him a sound transmission that a water demon saint had come to attack. "Yes, we cannot stay here any longer. Let's leave this matter to Elder Sheng to decide." Shu Yujun said decisively. "You all leave first. I will stay and wait for that brat." Yang Hanchang said firmly. The Yang clan had declined, but as a member of the Battle Clan, they placed the most importance on bloodline power. Yang Wu's bloodline power definitely exceeded 50% and was considered extremely outstanding in their Yang clan. Yang Hanchang wanted to bring Yang Wu back to the Yang clan. "Once the water demon saint attacks here, you will die without a doubt," Bai Weiming said with a frown. "If that brat dies, there is no harm in me being buried with him," Yang Hanchang said firmly. Then he said to Shu Yujun, "My juniors, I asked the Hung Mountain sect to take care of them and send them back to the Yang clan first." Shu Yujun lightly nodded, no longer paying attention to Yang Hanchang, and left with Bai Weiming. Although she admired Yang Wu very much, and Yang Wu had saved her life before, the Great Tao was merciless, and anyone could die on the way. Those who could not persevere to the end were all failures, and were not worthy of pity. Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and the others disappeared from this space, leaving only Yang Hanchang standing guard outside the palace. "Yang Wu, oh Yang Wu, don't die. Otherwise, I'll really have to accompany you in death," Yang Wu muttered as he stared at the palace gate. As an ancient aristocratic family, the Yang clan had a strict hierarchy. Yang Hanchang, Yang Jie, and the others were only collateral family members. They all relied on bitter cultivation to obtain a certain position in the clan. However, the further they went, the harder it was to fight for it. without enough bloodline talent. Sooner or later, they would be relegated to the sidelines. Yang Hongchang had high hopes for Yang Wu. Once Yang Wu returned to the Yang clan, he would definitely receive enough attention, and then he would be able to obtain benefits. This was also why he insisted on staying. Moreover, his intuition told him that Yang Wu was not dead. His intuition had always been very accurate. Yang Hongchang did not stay idle. He searched for treasures in other places to see if he had missed anything. His luck seemed to be very good, and he really did find some good things that he had missed. Outside, in the Yangtze River's clear water region, the Whitewater clan, Hung Mountain sect, and the Water Demons were fighting. The Blackwater clan had long since withdrawn from the palace, giving it to the Whitewater clan and the Hung Mountain sect. They did not participate in the battle, as they would be punished if they did. However, the Blackwater Snake clan was their ally, and the Blackwater Snake clan did not violate their oath to fight for this palace. The Blackwater Snake clan did not live in this region of the water, but since this was related to the demonic palace, they coveted it. After being lured by the Blackwater clan, a snake saint brought a group of water snakes to fight for it. This place only allowed creatures in the heaven realm and below to enter. The snake saint only came to occupy this region of the water and let the snake demons it brought go in to fight for the treasures. However, the Whitewater clan and the Hung Mountain sect were not to be trifled with. Each saint attacked from a distance to deal with the snake saint, preventing it from attacking the younger generation. The snake saint also followed the rules and spoke with the saints. It only brought the younger generation and had no intention of attacking the younger generation. As long as the saints did not attack, the saints would not attack the other party's younger generation. Any fight between the younger generation was a form of training. The Blackwater Snake clan brought a total of 300 large snakes. Each snake's body was suffused with a dark color. Their flesh was so thick that 1 or 2 people might not be able to wrap their arms around them. They were incomparably strong, and their ferocious snake heads were raised high, constantly swallowing their hissing tongues. The Blackwater snake in the lead was 300 feet long. Its body was covered in thick snake scales, each as bright as ink. Its triangular eyes were filled with a fierce light. It opened its mouth and said, "Get out of here immediately, or I'll eat all of you." This Blackwater snake was called Shihan, and its strength was at the peak of the heaven realm. Beside it were 5 other Blackwater snakes that had reached the peak of the heaven realm. The rest of the water snakes were between the heaven realm and the emperor realm. They had just arrived, and their strength was relatively intact. They were more powerful than the hundreds of people from the Whitewater clan and the Hung Mountain sect. "Shihan, you don't have the help of the Blackwater clan. How dare you fight against our Whitewater clan? Aren't you afraid of our revenge?" Bai Luoyin stood in front of Shihan and shouted, "Hee, we are allies with the Blackwater clan and enemies with you. What revenge are we afraid of? This place has already been occupied by us. If you don't leave, we'll fight." Shihan laughed coldly. "We've already taken everything in this palace. Even if you occupy it, you won't get any benefits. Just get out of here." Bai Luoyin shouted, "We have saints escorting us here. How can we return empty-handed? Since you've taken everything, we'll take it from your hands. Let's kill them all together." Shihan shouted. The 300 Blackwater snakes attacked at the same time. In an instant, the place turned upside down. Waves of water created a terrifying attack that covered an area of more than 10 miles. The Blackwater snakes came prepared. They each used their own powerful killing moves. There were special demon weapons, venom, and the sound of shell conches. Bai Lian's group had more people than the Blackwater snakes, but the top heaven realm experts weren't here. Many experts had died in the palace. Their overall strength was weaker than the Blackwater snakes. It was extremely difficult for them to fight. Fortunately, Bai Weiming, Shu Yujun, and the others rushed out of the light door. The Whitewater clan and the Hung Mountain sect had a backbone. "Shihan, get back to your snake clan's territory immediately. Otherwise, we'll kill all of you." Bai Weiming roared. Bai Weiming and Bai Xie didn't say anything and went to meet Shihan and the other top demons. It's not certain who will kill who. Hand over all your gains, and I can spare your lives." Shihan swept his body, and his snake tail whipped towards Bai Weiming like a battle weapon. Kill. Bai Weiming knew that things were going to be difficult. He revealed a strong killing intent and fought fiercely with Shihan. Shu Yujun also helped at the first moment. The Blackwater snakes came prepared. If they didn't dampen their spirit, everyone would be in trouble. The Hung Mountain sect sent reinforcements. There weren't many deacons and disciples who could go into the water. If they were on land, any team sent by the Hung Mountain sect would be enough to kill these Blackwater snakes. Bai Weiming's sky-devouring conch landed in the palace. Shu Yujun's little saint's sword had been shattered. Fortunately, Bai Xie still had the holy rhino horn. He burst out with the power of the top heaven realm and was very powerful. He could fight against 2 top demon snakes at the same time. If they didn't have the holy rhino horn, they would be defeated even faster. However, the Blackwater snakes came prepared. Shihan spat out a huge tooth. This was a holy snake tooth. It contained a terrifying holy aura. The huge tooth pierced the sky and pierced towards Bai Weiming. Bai Weiming's water prison was broken in an instant. The majestic holy aura hit him and made him spit out blood. Not only that, the holy tooth also chased after him. As long as it touched Bai Weiming, he would die without a doubt. It seems that your Whitewater clan's holy weapons are all destroyed. Shihan found that Bai Weiming didn't even have a holy weapon. He thought that it might have something to do with entering that place. Just when Bai Weiming thought that he was dead, Shu Yujun took out another holy edict. A mass of holy aura swept out. It was as if the water was under her control. It was completely still. A blue light tore through the water and wrapped around the holy tooth. The holy edict's power couldn't last as long as the holy tooth. It definitely couldn't last for long. Shu Yujun made a prompt decision and said, "Break out of the encirclement and leave." They had already taken all the Blackwater snakes outside the palace. It was impossible for them to get their hands on the Blackwater snakes inside the palace. Leaving this place first was the best option. Shu Yujun's skin absorbed a large amount of water. In the next moment, she exploded like a hedgehog. Countless arrows shot towards the Blackwater snakes in all directions. Shu Yujun was only at the high level of the heavenly fish realm, but her battle strength was comparable to that of a peak heaven realm expert. Her innate ability was incomparably domineering. She killed a dozen Blackwater snake kings and severely injured many of the heaven realm Blackwater snakes. There is a top-grade Blackwater snake that displayed its snake scale innate skill. It was like a huge wall lying horizontally, blocking most of Shu Yujun's attacks. It spat out a thick and terrifying venom from its mouth, dyeing the nearby water into a grayish-black color. The Whitewater clan and Mount Hung sect's people were scared out of their wits. They all rushed forward, not daring to stay any longer. This terrifying venom would kill anyone who came in contact with it. Some kings couldn't escape in time and were wrapped in the venom. Their bodies turned black, their eyes turned white, and they foamed at the mouth. They were quickly poisoned to death. Blackwater snake, we will uproot your entire clan sooner or later. Bai Weiming angrily roared. Not a single Blackwater snake will be allowed to appear in my Mount Hung sect's territory. A Mount Hung sect deacon angrily shouted. No matter how they shouted, it didn't change the fact that they were forced to retreat. Shihan sinisterly said, "Wait until you have the ability to do so." Most of the Blackwater snakes chased after them, while a portion of them quickly rushed towards the Door of Light. The Blackwater clan told them that there were many holy weapons in the main palace, as well as the Dragon Turtle Battle Soul. If they could obtain them all, it would be equivalent to obtaining a holy treasury. Their eyes revealed greed.